Hello there, hello there, hello there. Oh, you Twitch and YouTubes, how are you? Are you well? I do hope so. Um. Oh, chatty chat. I lied. I lied to you. When I said I was going to do a football stream early, I lied because I didn't remember that the Blues were at home, so I went to that instead. I kind of wish I hadn't. Lost 3-2 at home to Hull City. Grim. Anyway. But you know, that happened.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Wow, early doors. Early doors.
Viva la Cantabrigada.
Indeed. Thank you, Katie. Much love to you, my friend. God bless. I hope you're well. Everyone go and follow Katie /MadCatScotty on the various platforms. So I might do a football stream early tomorrow, and then do the thing that we usually do, the award-winning journalisms in the evening. Yeah, that's the thing. Looks like Charlie Kirk with a beard. I can't say anything, can I? I'll get banned on Twitch again. I can't even do that. I can't even say the thing. I'm being silenced, chat. F's in chat for Kev's freedom of the speeches, because it's honestly, my peaches have never been less frozen. It's a disgrace. I've been cancelled. I've been cancelled, and thus people need to give me at the very least, a book deal, and probably like a documentary or maybe a series or something on TV, so that I can tell everyone how silenced I've been. That's how it works, right?
The return of the sausages.
F indeed. Thank you, Phil Decker. Much love to you, my friend. Yes. In a sense, we've got something of a rerun of yesterday's show. Sort of. There's no normal island, but we will be talking about one of the same topics as we did yesterday, which I already put a video out on, but it's slightly different. And then we're going to watch the rest of the Mamdani debate. So there's that. Basically, it's a sort of version of yesterday's show, if you want to stick around. You can. You know. Yes, you can indeed stick around. Yes, thank you for reminding me to turn the alert box off for when I do the bit that I'm going to pop on YouTube, maybe. I don't know. Yes, thank you to Katie Marshall again with 5 gifties on the YouTubes. Much love to you. Indubitably. Anyway, yes. So we'll be talking about football, but not really about football, but a bit about football, but not really. Which is what we did yesterday too. It's a story that will rumble on and on. Get ready, by the way, for Monday, because not only will there be a happy hour Monday with Christy, because we're changing it to Mondays now instead of Fridays, because of Christy's schedule and stuff, but also I will have to run late on that show as well, because there's undoubtedly going to be a debate in Parliament, isn't there? About why we should definitely let violent rape enthusiast Israelis into the country to do violence. Because that's what a tolerant society does? That Haaland lad is alright. Yes, he is indeed, yeah. I was listening to a little bit of radio on the way back from the Blues game. And they said he'd scored 20 goals in the last 11 games for club and country. Which is fucking mental. That is proper mental. Now, to be fair, 5 of those were against, like, fucking Moldova or some shit. But it don't matter. That's still mental. He's a bit tasty, that lad. And he was born in England. Why didn't you play for England, you fucking cockhead? Imagine him and Kane up front. God, would be good. Oh, we'd be we'd be OP. We'd be OP. Have I checked breaking? What's this then? What's the breaking news? No. What's the breaking news? Have I missed the breaking news? Lady Annabelle Goldsmith has died at the age of 81. No, 91, and I don't know who that is, so... Apparently there's news about the lads that tried to set Keith's house on fire. I'm not seeing anything. Look, all he had to do was pay his Ukrainian rent boys, and then it wouldn't have been an issue, would it? Well, as Friends Rust, you make a very good point. Not only the same city, the same fucking stadium. Literally. And in case I forget to mention it, I might as well mention it here. Literally, the Italian government won in the appeal to allow them to suspend, not just deny Eintracht Frankfurt fans the opportunity to go to Naples, but to literally abandon temporarily their responsibilities under the Schengen travel agreement, so that they can literally ban all Germans, subject to discretion, I believe is the case. So basically, if you're not an Eintracht Frankfurt fan, you'll be fine. But in theory, to allow them to ban all Germans to be able to go into Italy, to make sure that no Eintracht Frankfurt fans make it to Naples, because it might be trouble. And that's happening now. That literally just happened, like yesterday. The decision came through from UEFA. I'm not hearing much noise from the same people about how the Italian government is expressing anti-German hatred. I wonder why. Rangers and Celtic have not been allowed to play, allowing each other's away fans recently too. Indeed, yes, that is true. Although that's just probably a wise decision, to be honest with you. I mean that is a really vicious, like, sectarian issue. If only the rest of Europe had banned Germany in 1939. Well, to be fair, Big Zebra, I don't think the Poles invited the Germans in. Technically, they were also banned from entering Poland at the time. It's just the German government at that point were not as worried about fulfilling diplomatic obligations to neighbouring states as they currently are. Which is the most diplomatic way of saying that, I think. I think that is literally the most soft soak way of saying, you know, they did war and that. Yeah. Oh, what am I doing? Anyway, yes, but there's I have a different take, or not a different take, a different angle on the same story that we talked about yesterday. So you should stick around for that, because it hopefully will be enlightening. Hopefully. Thank you, Ronnie, with $2 dues and the whatever emote that is. It looks like that is a fox farting hearts, but I'm not sure that's what it's meant to be. But you know what? We'll go with it. That's the headcanon. And thank you, David B, for becoming a member on the YouTubes. Much love. Much love. Tommy 10 Name's going to return from Israel trip to do a spot of hooliganism. Oh yeah, I mean, assuming he's not in jail, because I'm not sure. Isn't his sentencing or decision or whatever before the game? So he might be in jail. I don't know. But either way, the game's going to be a shit show. The government have ensured that. The government have absolutely ensured it, because everyone's going to turn up there now. There's going to be more people outside the ground protesting one way or the other than there will be inside the ground watching. Like, it was already going to be a policing issue, and now it's a policing nightmare. I've added a couple of bits to the soundboard. Kev, if I pay, would you wear a Celtic top? I own Celtic tops. What are you talking about? I literally own Celtic apparel. I can't fucking see any of them, but I've got like 2 or 3 Celtic tops. So, I mean, you can pay me for that, but you don't need to. I mean, would you put a Celtic ton up when if someone paid you money to do it? Yeah. Because I already do that without getting paid. If I paid you, would you wear a Rangers top? No, the fuck I would not. And I mean that. There is no amount of money you could pay me that would make me do that. Any violence that happens at the match is entirely Starmer, indeed. But I don't look. We're going to get to that in a second. Right, chat. Let's get shilling out of the way, shall we? You can, if you're on twitch.tv /KFLogan1875, you can hit the follow button for now. You can become a member for $5 or some shit. I don't know. It depends where you are. Yes. You can. What else can you do? You can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can gift subs to the community. You can do bits messages, 200 bitty bits or more gets you a text-to-speech. You can do super chats for the Streamlabs link below, $2 or more that gets you a text-to-speech. It was another shy performance from Rangers today. Dropped another 2 points. Absolutely brilliant. Honestly, they are so embarrassing. It's hilarious. It's almost funnier that they didn't go out of business and that they now just have to go through this perpetual cycle of humiliation instead. Like, I don't know which one I'd prefer. I sort of did want them to go out of business, and that would have been fucking hilarious. But they'd have probably just restarted as, like, AFC Rangers and be in exactly the same position anyway. But seeing them have to go through, like, it's almost a Sisyphean task of, like, having to roll the rock up a hill and then having the rock crush your bollocks on the way down again every day. Like, every season, it's the same thing. It's fucking hilarious. And I'm very much here for it. I like fascists being upset. It's always good. Would you wear a Tudor doublet and hose if the oldest? No, stop. I'm not wearing I'm not a doll for you to fucking dress up. Okay? I am a human being. A human male Mr. Man. And you will respect me. I once won an official football shirt in a random sweepstake in a local bank. I was automatically entered and it did not follow football. I told them to pick whatever team and they picked Chelsea. Well, at least that's kind of successful, I guess. Please change top then, Brummy Comrade. Hang on, are you paying me to put a Celtic top on instead? Oh shit, I don't know. I don't know if I've got one to hand. And my washing's like in the other room. And I could get up and go and do that. Well, you know what I'll do? Tomorrow. I'll wear a Celtic top tomorrow. Okay, I'll find one of them and I'll wear it tomorrow, okay? If that's okay. Because I didn't specify that I would wear a Celtic top tonight if you paid me. Anyway, how much to wear a MAGA hat and Rangers top combo? Again, there's no amount of money in the world you could pay me. There's no torture you could inflict upon me. No blackmail that you could use against me that would force me to do these things. I would rather die upon my feet than live upon my knees. Except in that way, but that's a different thing. $100 billion. Like, that's the funny thing, right? $100 billion is like, what was the number? I think it was $100 billion that Dr. Evil said in the movie that was like so fantastical that no one could afford it. And now it's like there are, I think, 3 or 4 people who are worth that amount or whatever. That's not even that much anymore. So pathetically have we sunk since the halcyon days of Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me. Would you wear a Rangers top if the world became communist overnight? Well, that's the thing. If the world became communist overnight and I was wearing a Celtic top, presumably I'd get gulagged. So, like, I don't... How do I benefit in that situation? Like, the rest of the world would be fine, but I'd be fucked. So... And we live in an atomised society now, so, no, it's only about me. My well-being is all that matters. Give me money.
Finally, those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes, eh? Hey, comrades? Hey?
True. Anyway, okay, right. So, how far did I get with my shilling before I was distracted by whatever the fuck it was, tits or something? Anyway, you can do you can help me on Patreon and PayPal. I've got a Discord you can follow. Not follow, you can join and be a part of. It's an active process anyway, or it can be a passive process if you want. It's entirely up to you. You can I've got YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram and Threads. If you're on YouTube, hell the fuck oh to the YouTubes. You can subscribe to the channel for Nout. You can thumb the video up. You can smash the shit out of the notification bell button or something. You can become a member for 99 pence. You can gift memberships to the community for 99 pence as well, and you can do super chats, which when I turn the noises back on after I've done my bit, if I ever get round to it, then I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the super chats will be read out by a terrible robot voice, which I could work, but it's whatever. I don't know. Anyway. If someone paid you, would you play for Rangers? Yes. No, you know what? I would play for Rangers, because I'd make them worse. Because, like, I couldn't run. Like, to be fair, what I will say for Rangers is that they are at least physically fit enough to play football. They're not good enough to play football, but they are physically fit enough. Whereas I would be, like, gasping after 10 minutes. I'd be fucked, mate. So, yeah. Is it possible to make them worse? Yes, I think I could. I genuinely... Look, I'm not necessarily the most unskilled of the central defenders, but what I am is fat and old. So I think I would make them worse. Yeah. I would like to see Kev manage a football club. I wouldn't. Footballers are fucking wankers. Kev to be the new goalie. To be fair, Jack Butland is not a bad goalkeeper. So I think Rangers are pretty set in that department. That is a way I could fuck it up, yeah. Kev could be a mascot. No. No. Anyway, chat. Let's get into it. Boop. So we talked yesterday and, well, the last couple of days about the fact that the political establishment and the media establishment in the UK want this group of people to come into the country. This would be the fans of Maccabi Tel Aviv when they were in the Greek capital Athens, hospitalising one of the locals there because he looked Arab. There you go. This is a scene that Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, and the political establishment of the United Kingdom want to see on the streets of my own city here in Birmingham. I am from Birmingham. For full disclosure, I am a Birmingham City fan. There you go. And so I just will say this. Aston Villa is not a football club that I have any love for. If it disappeared tomorrow, I would laugh. So I don't want anything I'm about to say to be misconstrued as support of that football club in the fucking slightest. But they have found themselves in the maelstrom of completely bullshit confected non-anti-Semitism. Because, yes, the West Midlands Police have banned Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, at time of recording, from going to the game in early November in my own fair city of Birmingham. And even though 42% of the British public support the ban, 1% of the politicians do, because they don't actually represent us, they represent Zionism. And I want to introduce you to a particular actor in this melodrama, because for me, it is a sort of teaching moment to open one's eyes about the way in which the manufacturing of consent is done by the media. And I don't think I've ever seen a more clear and blatant example of this. As I introduce you to this gentleman, and I say gentleman entirely sarcastically, his name is Andrew Fox. He is an Aston Villa fan, so we are led to believe. And he was interviewed by Sky News and others about this schmozzle.
However, in the last 24 hours, I've had online death threats over this issue. I was threatened to be stabbed if I went to the game.
Now, that's bad. Obviously, we don't support that. What I will say is, as a person who engages with football online, that's happened to everybody. There is nobody who hasn't been threatened. It's always wrong when it happens. It's always wrong. It's a bad and disgusting part of the experience. But it's not unique to you. It's a thing that happens. Most of it isn't, like, serious. It's not. It's not nice, and I understand you taking it seriously, but it isn't serious, because the amount of stabbing threats that happen is vastly orders of magnitude larger than the number of actual stabbings that take place. It's just dickheads online mouthing off.
And, if they can't...
Now, I want to just take a moment to highlight the chyron here. So, it says there, Honorary President of the Aston Villa Jewish Villains Support Club, Andrew Fox. Now, villain is not meant in the literal sense. It's the name for people who support Aston Villa. They're known as villains. So it's not Jewish villains. That's different connotation, right? So, purportedly, a Jewish Aston Villa supporters club. He's the honorary president thereof. Okay. Bear that in mind for a few moments.
Protect Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. How can they protect my Jewish friends when they're walking around wearing an Aston Villa shirt and a Star of David? How can they protect me when I'm getting death threats online? This is really serious stuff. So I think the police generally do a great job, but they do owe us a better explanation as to what's actually going on here. Everyone just wants to go to a football match safely, enjoy the game, enjoy our magnificent stadium at Villa Park, and hopefully see an Aston Villa win, and that's what everyone wants. So without...
I do not want an Aston Villa win. I also don't want a Maccabi Tel Aviv win, and a draw wouldn't be happy for me either, so... Just saying.
Fans in the stadium and the opposing away end, that is going to impair the experience. So I would like to see the local council and the police do everything they can to facilitate this as a normal football game where everyone can enjoy the match in safety. However, in the last...
Okay. Now, that is this person's opinion. and you think, okay, they're the honorary president of a Jewish supporters club for Aston Villa, you take that as its own standalone comment. I disagree with him, but he doesn't seem like an unpleasant or unreasonable chap. Has to be borne in mind, though, the way in which the media operate in all of this. Sky News responded to their own comment, to their own post here, saying, "This is a correction of a previous post that incorrectly identified Mr. Fox as Jewish." So someone lied. Someone lied about this man being Jewish. I don't know if it was him. I don't know if it was poor journalism or whether they were lied to. Well, either way it's poor journalism, but whether it's just poor journalism or whether he lied to them and they didn't check. But either way, he is the non-Jewish honorary president of the Jewish Aston Villa Supporters Club. Right. Okay. I mean, I suppose you don't have to be entirely ethnically or religiously like pure or whatever to exist. So that's fine. But like, it does certainly raise red flags. Let's say it does. It doesn't make you feel more comfortable with his analysis of the situation. And so it brings us to, well, who is Andrew Fox exactly? Because in that clip you saw there, and he's been on various, he's been interviewed on various, where are we? Hang on. He's been interviewed on various places in the British media. He's been on TalkSport, which is a sports radio thing here in the UK. He's been on Talk TV. He's been on GB News. He's been on Sky News, right? So, and at no point, I think, in any of these media appearances, do they actually give you any further context. You're just told he is the honorary president of the Aston Villa Jewish Villains Supporters Club. Do you want to know who he really is, chat? Oh, that's right. He's literally a military expert. Tears apart viral Gaza aid story. Yeah, there he is. He is a member of the Henry Jackson Society, which is an organisation which has, for legal reasons, I will say, been alleged to have taken potentially millions of pounds in funding from the Israeli state. Because they're opaque about their funding, naturally. He works for that organisation. It's supposedly a think tank, but also he has done literal propaganda videos for the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the ridiculous, essentially genocide-enabling organisation set up by the Israeli state to starve the people of Gaza. He also, where are we? Where's this thing? Here we go. This was him in response to a BBC article entitled "Israel Strike in Gaza Humanitarian Zone Kills 19." So that is a story about the death, the murder of 19 people at the hands of the Israeli state. A completely non-partisan, completely just innocent football fan here said, "Good, keep going, IDF." That was his response to that. Did you not think, Sky News or any of those other sources, to mention any of this? Did you think that maybe he might have some skin in the game? He might not necessarily be an unbiased source in this. And it might be worth telling your readers or your listeners, your viewers, about this person's, let's say, biases, to give the full context of it. But you still think to yourself, okay, but he's still the honorary president of the Jewish Supporters Club, right? Except not really either. Because according to Aston Villa's own fan club page, Jewish Villains doesn't exist. Trust me, I've been through it. It takes you through all of the different geographic locations all around the world. There you go. There's Australia, Canada, Cyprus, all around the world. And nowhere will you find Jewish villains. Anywhere. Literally anywhere. So, what is this organisation exactly? I'm not entirely sure. But I did ask Mr. Fox, because he posted, where is it? He posted this little screenshot, which he claims is from 2024. Okay, fine, whatever. He says, I have been asked to be the founding honorary president of the Jewish Villains Aston Villa Supporters Club. As a lifelong fan, it's incredible. I have accepted with delight. Up the Villa. Asked by who, Andrew? Because I asked him this. He hasn't responded, naturally. Asked by who? Because there is no record of this organisation existing. It's not registered with Aston Villa Football Club. It's not registered with any other organisation. I have asked all of my Aston Villa friends. Now, that is a relatively small sample size, to be fair. But I've asked all of them, and they've never heard of you. They've never heard of a Jewish supporters club at Aston Villa. Not to say that there aren't Jewish supporters, but clearly the Jewish fans of this organisation, of Aston Villa Football Club, didn't think to set up an organisation themselves. They didn't think it was worthwhile for whatever reason. So who asked you to be the honorary president? And why would they ask a non-Jewish person to be the first founding president of the Jewish Supporters Club? They don't have a website. They don't have seemingly any way that you can join the organisation. They don't have any numbers in terms of how many members they have. They don't seem to have held any meetings that are anywhere available on the internet. It's almost as if this organisation doesn't exist outside of the mind of Andrew Fox. He made it up, whether it was last year, this week, who gives a fuck? He made it up and is LARPing as the honorary president of a fake Jewish Villains Aston Villa Supporters Club. This man has willingly lied about all of this to get media attention because he is a bought and paid for shill of the Israeli state doing IDF propaganda. And using the name of Aston Villa's Jewish supporters to do so. He is taking the kudos of representing a group that he is not a part of as a non-Jewish person. I'm perfectly prepared to accept he's a Villa fan, whatever. I have no evidence one way or the other. But he's taking the credit of the actual Jewish Villa fans and speaking on their behalf as a non-Jewish person who is heading up a fake organisation in their name. This is why I say Zionists don't give a fuck about Jews. They really don't. They use Jewish people as a goal, as a way of achieving their goal of the Greater Israel Project. They couldn't give two fucks about Jewish people. And at no point during any of this did the media think to point this out to him, to their audience. They just seemingly forgot about it. It's interesting, that, isn't it? It's interesting. I wonder if he'll be hounded now by the media in the way that they do with anyone who criticises Israel. Because surely trying to piggyback on actual Jewish Aston Villa fans to push your political agenda when you are not Jewish and aren't the leader of any actual organisation, because that organisation doesn't exist. Surely that's pretty fucking anti-Semitic, isn't it? I would argue that's extraordinarily anti-Semitic. And the fact that he's a genocidal piece of shit as well. That doesn't help, but you know. So, I mean, I put it to you, everyone in chat. What do you want to make yourself the honorary member of? Or the honorary founding president of? Because apparently we can just do this now. Maybe you want to be the honorary president of the Swole Chad Big Dick Society. I don't know. You can just make up anything. Apparently that's just fine. And the press will give you absolute carte blanche and no pushback whatsoever for you to push propaganda on behalf of people who sing about wanting to rape fellow football fans, by the way. Because again, in case you were wondering whether this was about defending football supporters, Maccabi Tel Aviv literally sing about murdering and raping fans of their cross-city rivals. Now, I started this off by saying I don't like Aston Villa Football Club. At no point would you ever in a million years catch me saying that I want to rape and murder them. Because I'm not genocidal scum. I'm not a rape enthusiast. I'm not the kind of person who should be banned from a civilised society. The same cannot be said for Maccabi Tel Aviv fans. The fact that the British government is spending so much energy trying to allow that kind of disgusting garbage into the nation, if only they put 1/10 of that into, I don't know, prosecuting the murderers of the 97 at Hillsborough, then they'd actually be doing their job of trying to protect football fans. But they're not really working for the football fans of the UK, are they? Yes, as Friends Rust, yeah, they sing a song. They sing a song called The Rape Song, which goes on about killing communists, Hapoel fans. And then it says, hang on, I'll get the lyrics up. Fuck it. Where are we? What? Oh, why? Here we go. Right. Where is it? We are ashamed of you at the end of the day. Where is it? Hapoel fans, we will fuck you. And then drink your blood. Nice. And in the city square, we'll hang every communist, Hapoel, who goes there. We'll take your girls who like it wild. When we rape them, we will shout, "Today is death to Hapoel." That's the group of people that the entire establishment in Westminster, the entire political establishment, the entire media establishment is going to bat for. These are the people that our entire political establishment want to foist upon my city. Wow, another rape-supporting Israel fucking defender in YouTube chat. Yeah, you're getting blocked, mate. Boom. Get fucked. when I read out those lyrics, they said "so" and then laughing emojis, because you know. There you go. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Thank you, Andrew Luke, with £2, who says, I was asked, in quotation marks, villains like to talk to themselves. Well, apparently so. And thank you, Katie Marshall, who says, honorary member of Mad Scottish Peoples for me. Nice. Nice. Thank you for your support, everybody. Yeah. Another song they sing. What we got here? Oh yeah, we talked about this with Curtis yesterday. Yeah, they got a song about death to Arabs. Yeah. There's also another one where they chant, why are there schools in Gaza? All their children are dead. Yeah, I don't want them in the country. Nope, they can get fucked. Absolute fucking garbage. Anyway, talking of garbage, Andrew Cuomo and Kurt Silva. Shall we take a look at the rest of this nonsense, chat? I'll put the alert box back on so noises can happen. Yeah, the Tartan Army are fucking dope, man. Love that shit. From the river to the sea, George Santos will be free. Yeah, I did see that. The presidential pardon, I've said this before, the presidential pardon needs to be done away with. It's so obviously ripe for abuse. Nope.
Referring to a previous comment you made, and we will get back to this, but Mr. Cuomo, a question for you.
It's a comment he made.
I said that, yes, I understand. I said that. As governor, you put the National Guard on standby during the George Floyd protests. You didn't deploy them. As mayor, talk about how you would balance the right to protest with maintaining order in the streets.
The right to protest is a sacred right. There is no doubt about that. But the law is the law also. And you have New Yorkers now who are afraid in this city. They're afraid.
Okay, but what's the law got to do with people being afraid? There's no law that says people have a right to not be afraid, surely. That's not a thing. What's he talking about?
Of Donald Trump coming, they're afraid of that anarchy, and they're afraid of the anarchy in this city itself. We have to provide public safety that makes New Yorkers feel safe. Demonstration is one thing. Violating the law is something else. Blocking public transit is something else. Stopping students from going to class is something else.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
The Cordoba Foundation did a workshop covering Henry Jackson Society and their past, which was interesting.
Well, if you link me to that imagination scene, either in the chat, if you can, which I'm not sure because it's YouTube, or on the Discord, in the stream suggestions, I'll take a look. Here is the Walter Masterson endlessly trolling Cuomo.
This is what Zoran Mandami does.
Mandami?
These are his tactics.
That you're going to represent the working class because you take money from the Walmart family, the Murdochs, right? The CEO of Home Depot. Oh, fighting for us all the time. Ken Griffin, who owns all the penthouses in Manhattan. You tell him you say hello when you lose, right? You'll have plenty of time to do that because you represent billionaires and oil interests, and that is it.
Andrew Cuomo. Okay. I am the real Andrew Cuomo. And if you are a billionaire, I will support your rights. I will support you. If you are an oil magnate, I will support you. No matter what.
This is anti-Italian bigotry. Honestly, this is a pogrom against Italian New Yorkers. Sorry, New Yorkers. I think that's how it's pronounced by the locals. I want to be culturally sensitive, you know.
I will support this and try to stop it.
Hey, I'm trolling here.
I will not take no for an answer.
You want to talk about how you created a fracked gas pipeline in New York City?
It's going real well, Quomes. It's going super well.
Talk about how you stopped climate legislation. You want to talk about the 13th sexual harassment?
Oh.
She's getting in my face. Mr. Cuomo, you want to talk about how you cut climate harassment?
The joke is over.
The joke has only begun. I am Cuomo. I know I make people feel.
He is real Andrew Cuomo, okay? We are fully paid up members of the Cuomo Truther Society now. I'm the honorary founding president of the Cuomo Truther Foundation Society Club. And, yeah, until Andrew Cuomo releases his long-form birth certificate, I do not accept it. This is the real Andrew Cuomo, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Uncomfortable. That is my entire brand. That is my brand.
Don't approach
Hello?
our supporters here. Don't approach our supporters.
They're my supporters.
No, they're not.
They're mine.
He is a fear candidate. He's an opportunist. When has he shown up for public school parents? When has he shown up for public school parents?
He's still trying. Okay, he's just, look, you've got to say there is a consistency with Andrew Cuomo here. He does not take no for an answer in any situation, whether that be, the New Yorkers rejecting him at the ballot box, or whether that be, women saying they don't want to have sex with him. Either way, he refuses to take no for an answer. And you know what? That is the kind of consistency that, unfortunately, far too many people seem to think is a good thing in politicians.
Now, he has never shown up for public school parents.
My own supporters betray me in front of everyone. My very own supporters, they all betray me. We'll see who the real ones are.
This is our response.
That is not me. Just because it is a hairy man with a beard, a ginger bearded man, that is not me, chat. I'm gonna head you off at the pass here. I'm gonna get to it before anyone says it. No, it isn't me. Okay? Fucking behave yourselves.
So what is happening in our country? You not talking to Donald Trump is like Donald Trump saying he was not making plans with Project 2025. This is a
Okay, where's Walter Masterson? We haven't got all fucking day. Oh, here he is. Okay.
They don't have permission to be in front of the school or inside the school. Yeah! Homosexual! You can Google it, but just Google it as one word, not two words. Cuomo, tell them about the part where the Walmart family is paying you money to end education.
True, Specs Bean Farmer, true. Much love, by the way. Everyone go and check out Specs Bean Farmer on whatever platforms they exist. I don't know. They seem cool. They're a cool person. So.
You guys are here. They're fucking like this. Yeah, great. Thank you. Scaring children.
We're scaring the children.
This man is putting our city underwater. Our city will be going underwater. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
How dare you?
Thank you.
How dare I?
How do your fucking platforming?
How dare all of you?
He's running as a conservative. What do you guys? You guys are Democratic staffers working for a Republican?
Kicked out of my.
You have no principle.
Kicked out of my own rally and press conference.
I can't believe they are treating Andrew Cuomo, the real Andrew Cuomo, like that. Quo means quo.
And you can go and speak wherever you want.
He would trust him. Andrew Cuomo, tell him he would trust him.
Guidelines on transgender students. PEP got help from the state AG to write back a letter essentially saying, oh, hey, first off, we legally have 30 days to...
He is working with Trump to let ICE into your community, and we're racist?
Them calling us racist is just blatantly hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, you get the idea. We've got over an hour of this fucking thing to go, chat. We've got to make some progress. Because I've got such a busy fucking schedule otherwise. So much to do.
Harassment, intimidation, that's a hate crime, that's illegal. Enforce the law. Respect the police. They're not... Not racists.
I feel like I might wear that button out a bit, to be honest. Don't want to overuse that one, but it feels very appropriate all too often.
As the assemblyman calls them. They're not a threat to public safety, as he says. They're not anti-queer. They are here to protect New Yorkers, work with them, fortify them.
You know, that's ironic that you say that now,
I'm sorry,
Andrew Cuomo, because when you were governor for 8 years, your parole board released 43 cop killers back into the street.
Okay.
Is this a safe space, chat? Can I say the thing I want to say? Or will Twitch definitely ban me?
Your father, when he was governor, released none. I knew Mario Cuomo. You're no Mario Cuomo.
I sucked Mario Cuomo's dick. I know what he tastes like. He's inside me.
Andrew Cuomo. You released
Mr.
cop killers. Don't say you're pro.
Mamdani, do you want to respond briefly to the comments that Mr. Cuomo raised about things you've said about police? You can do a brief response to that.
I have been clear time and time again that as much as Andrew Cuomo wants to bring up tweets from 2020, which is around the same time that he was sending seniors to their death in nursing homes.
True.
I am looking to work with police officers, not to defund the NYPD, looking to ensure that officers can actually do one job when they're signing up to join that department, not the many jobs around.
Yeah, you know what? If we get into a hype train, I will finger Mario Cuomo. I will. And I will tell Andrew Cuomo all about it. I'll write him a thoroughly detailed essay on what his dad's innards feel like. Jesus Christ. Kev. Oh no. Oh. It's bad when you gross yourself out. That's not a good situation.
Wank! He was specifically referring to comments you made. We will come back to that, but we're out of time.
Okay, candidates and racist.
We're moving on.
That's what you
Thank
said.
you.
Your words. Your words.
We're moving on. Thank you. Despite record low.
Hang on, he said the police are corrupt and racist. So it just told the truth then. Okay.
Crime numbers, polls show that crime remains a top concern for New York City voters. The three of you have very different approaches to crime fighting and how to manage the NYPD. We want to get into your plans. So we'll start with this question. It's a two-part question, but it's short. How will you make the city safer? And how will you change the NYPD? You'll have 1 minute. We begin with Mr. Cuomo.
I would add 5,000. Well, let's take a step back. Remember what happened. The far left, the socialists said defund the police, defund the police. They took $1 billion out of the police. The NYPD is now down at one of the lowest levels in modern political history. I would add 5,000 police, put 1,500 in the subways, raise the starting salary because you can't hire them. You can't even fill a class right now. And you have to add additional police officers because the attrition rate is so high. Part of that is going to be saying,
oh no, didn't go police. Oh, didn't. It's too tough being a police officer. Fuck off. Good night, seamstress. Thanks for stopping by.
To the NYPD, I respect you. I don't think you're wicked, as the Assemblyman said. I don't think you're corrupt. I don't think you're racist. I value you. I will have your back. I'll be a mayor to work with you. That's how you're going to get the police to apply for the jobs. And then we have to work on the relationship between the community and the police. The police can't police the community. They have to police with the
You're
community.
up next, Mr. Sliwa.
This is amazing. I'm standing here with my two adversaries, both of whom have threatened to defund the police. You, Andrew Cuomo, during the summer of 2020.
What the fuck are you talking about? God, this guy's fucking weird.
2020, you said, if you don't reform police departments, I'm going to defund you. And you certainly said that, Zoran Mandami.
Jam, 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 yam, yam.
Police. We only have 32,500.
So jam, yam, yam, yam is his name now.
The problem in recruiting police, which neither of you are addressing, is that their insurance was stripped from them. The state, you did nothing when you were governor, and here in the city, 2021, the city council and Eric Adams did nothing. They don't have qualified immunity, which you benefited from, Andrew Cuomo, with the 13 lawsuits filed against you for sexual harassment.
Oh!
You really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
Facts. Spitting fucking facts, Laszlo.
Tom DiNapoli says we're paying out $60 million. Why? Because you had your qualified immunity as governor, and yet people have stood by as police have lost their insurance that all civil servants have. That's why you can't get recruits in, because they're not insured. I will return their qualified immunity because they need to be protected like others.
They need to be able to murder without any semblance of justice, is a thing which will see him finish miles behind Mamdami. So Mamami. Jam 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 bam.
Civil servants.
That is not New York State. It's New York City on the qualified insurance, on qualified immunity. It's not insurance at all.
You are entitled to free legal counsel, which is what he's referring to.
Yes.
You have spent.
Yes, but it's New York City that has revoked qualified immunity. It's not insurance. It's qualified immunity. It's nothing to do with insurance.
Okay. So that protected you in all these lawsuits.
And yes, the lawsuits, because there was a report filed. I said it was political. It turned out to be political.
Okay.
No, it turns out you're a sex pest, no.
Oh dear, I seem to have spotted a cunt.
And that's why
all 13 women were lying? Come on, Andrew. All 13 women were lying.
After 5 years.
Okay, you're right, Mr. Sliwa. Like, yeah, all 13 are lying. Yeah, obviously they're not. How many people have accused Donald Trump of exactly the same thing? And you suck his dick on the reg. More than you do Mario Cuomo, apparently. They're all lying, are they? Even the one that he was found like liable for in court? You know the rapist who was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein? That guy? The guy you love? Okay.
Trooper too?
Yeah, after 5 years, 5 DAs, 5 years of litigation, I was dropped from the case.
Mr. Mamdani, how will you make?
Once in a while.
Okay, Mr. Mamdani, how will you make the city safer, and how will you change the NYPD?
Thank you. This is the concern for so many New Yorkers.
See, this is the thing, right? I don't want to be like it's respectability politics or whatever, or it's not all about like optics, but those two like weirdo fucking Sopranos extras squabbling and be like, you're a rapist, no, you're a rapist, you're a piece of shit, fuck you, ah, and then Mamdani's just like, look, here's the issue, and talking to the people properly, like it's. That he just seems like the far more qualified of the candidates, even though he isn't qualified in the sense that he's never held the position before. But then again, I mean, Andrew Cuomo has, and he's the worst candidate there. And that's as if he's the worst candidate on the fucking stage. He is. God almighty. Gross. Anyway, he has his composure, he has his shit together, and that's really important.
And I'm proud to have a comprehensive plan to bring new ideas to this city. If you want more of the same, vote for Andrew Cuomo. If you want an actual approach to lower crime, look at our Department of Community Safety. That is something that has been hailed by experts as addressing
Good night,
so
Phil.
many of the pieces of why New Yorkers are not
Thanks for
feeling
stopping
safe
by,
today.
man.
We will ensure that no longer are police officers asked to do the job of both policing and responding to the mental health crisis. We will have
Oh, he was governor, not mayor. Apologies. Yeah, no, okay. Okay, he wasn't the mayor, but... I mean, he's had executive power. Okay, leave me alone. I'm an EP boy. I'm a cute little EP boy. That's me being a cat.
dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers in the top 100 subway stations with the highest levels of the mental health crisis and homelessness. We will ensure that cops can finally...
How many fucking... Hang on. Top 100? How many fucking subway stations do you have? What? There are 472. What the fuck? Oh, that's mad. Like, I know it's big, but like 472. So only the... When he said the top 100, so the top 21%. That's mental. New York's too big, man. And you wouldn't mind, but like, New York isn't even that big on a world stage. There are cities like with twice the population of New York, like Mexico City and Tokyo and all this shit. Fucking mental. Like, at that point, you're just a country. You're literally a country. You're not a city anymore. You're your own state. That's mental.
Go back to the response
time. How many does London have, just out of interest? Tube stations, London. Total. I don't want a fucking list of them. Jesus Christ, I'm not counting them. 200. Actually, that's a bit more than I thought there would be in London. 272. So like nearly. Well, oh, just over half. Yeah. That's mental. That is more than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be 100, 150 maybe. Yeah, I wish Birmingham had an underground. 183 to 189 in Barcelona. London is bigger and better than New York. I'm not sure it's bigger. I mean, unless you mean geographically, maybe, I guess. Also, you've got to bear in mind those 272 underground stations. Firstly, a lot of them aren't actually underground. They're just on the underground. But they're overground. It's weird. Anyway, because there is an overground as well, which is a different system. But anyway. And a lot of them go out into like the countryside. Around London, in the kind of... Basically out of London into the Shires, really. But, yeah. 200. So London has 10% of the stations in the UK. True, but it probably has about 10% of the population. To be fair. It's the Morton. Hello there. Brom is bigger than you think. Is it? I know how big it is. What are you talking about? You know I'm from here, right? You know I've been to, like, all of it. Pretty much. Every major area in the conurbation. I know how big it is. Thank you very much.
Times they used to have in 2020 closer to 11 minutes as opposed to the closer to 16 minutes today because they won't be asked to respond to the 200,000 mental health calls that are coming in through 911 every year. This is evidence-based. It's been successful elsewhere in the country. It's time we deliver it right here in New York City. It's time for a change.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
Zora Mamdani, we already had it. It's called the Homeless Outreach Unit.
I'm sorry, this is not free for all. We have another question for Mr. Mamdani.
Bill de Blasio funded them by...
Jesus fucking Christ, he's mental.
$1 billion out of the budget.
Thank you. Excuse me, Mr. Mamdani. We're going to talk about disciplining police officers. The civilian watchdog that investigates police misconduct regularly recommends discipline for cops accused of wrongdoing, but the police commissioner often overrides them. You want to change that policy so that the board has final say. Please explain to viewers in 30 seconds why you believe the police commissioner should no longer have that final say.
Because he keeps allowing them to get away with it, because he has skin in the game. So justice is never done.
What I've said is that I think it's time to remove much of the politics out of the question of accountability. We have the Civilian Complaint Review Board, which, as you said, studies, assesses, and investigates into complaints of abuse and the violation of the law. And oftentimes those recommendations are then subject to political pressures and not followed through on. I think New Yorkers deserve a system where they know it won't then be assessed once again that there's actually more to the recommendation in the investigation that's being done by the CCRB.
Okay, we're wrapping up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani. Mr. Cuomo, do you believe changes are needed for how officers are disciplined? And are there any powers that you would give up as mayor? You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would not remove the police commissioner from the CCRB. I'd leave it with the police commissioner. I think Commissioner Tisch is doing a very good job. I would trust her. The difference...
Right, but the point is that she might not be commissioner forever. And so essentially you're relying on the person being a kind of a benevolent dictator. Which is, of course, a really bad policy in every situation that's ever been, tried.
Between me and the assemblyman is he doesn't like the police. That's why he won't hire more police when everyone else says we need more police. He wants to use social workers on domestic violence calls, which are very dangerous.
Well, all of these... hang on. The numbers in chat, by the way, they all sort of add up. London is 13% of the population and has 11% of the train stations, so that makes, kind of sense. Greater London is about 9 million, whereas New York Greater Area is 20 million, so about twice the population and has twice the number of stations. It's almost like town planners know what they're doing. And even though they're working on tight budgets and all the rest of it, they actually do a pretty fucking good job, mostly. When politicians don't fuck around with it. Kind of makes sense, What is this nonsense? Leave me alone. Oh, don't clip me being a cat, you fucking knobs.
And he's told you what he thinks. He thinks the police are racist, wicked, corrupt, and a threat to public safety.
Thank you.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the original planners of the city were good. I'm saying people who do, basic fucking civilian infrastructure stuff day to day know what they're doing. Which is why the numbers seem to sort of bear that out, I think. Birmingham is massive. Why no underground? Because the rock under the city is makes it prohibitively expensive to build such a system. So they just don't bother. Which is why we've got pretty decent transportation, or should I say, before the Thatcherite Revolution, where we stopped building anything, we had pretty good transport connections, both inside the city and externally, to what do you call it? For the infrastructure that was necessary at the time, right? But the thing is, because we haven't been investing for the last 40 fucking years in any infrastructure, we've still got infrastructure that was, right for the mid-70s. But it's now the mid-2020s. So, we've got an increased population, increased needs for travel and all the rest of it, and not the infrastructure to deal with any of that. Which is why you literally can't move in traffic. Took me over a fucking hour to get home in the traffic today. And I don't park next to the stadium. I purposely park away from it so that the intense traffic around the stadium I don't get caught up in. And it still took me over an hour to get home. Mental.
his words.
Very quick. Mr. Mamdani, very quick.
Look, Andrew Cuomo is a politician of the past, and all he can speak about are the tweets of the past in 2020. Those are tweets which I have apologized for to New Yorkers and police officers directly, and they are not what I am actually running on.
Okay, bit cocked, but I'll look past it.
No,
You're
you haven't.
incapable of actually speaking about the platform that we have here,
Mamdani,
which is
can
one
we
that will
just-
keep New Yorkers safe.
Can we just quickly ask you, because I think what some people feel they haven't heard from you, we hear you saying that you don't believe that anymore and you've apologized. People have not heard you sort of describe the evolution of your thought, how you got from there to here.
You know, growing up in this city, I would think often of
Well, username and identity, London doesn't need the same number of stations per person because of the density of the city, and because they have more trains. They have a much better transportation system. Whereas the rest of the UK...
At this very moment, Britannia burns.
Metaphorically. Yeah. I didn't know when I was going to get to use that one. And I put it on there, so I had to use it.
about safety and justice, and the ways in which that relationship has been irrevocably harmed. When I learned about the exonerated five, when I learned about Sean Bell, when I learned about Eric Garner, when I learned about Michael Brown, and then in 2020, when I wrote these tweets, learning about the death of George Floyd. And that was a moment where it felt as if the distance between these two ideals had never been further. And in becoming an assembly member and serving and representing more than 100,000 people in Queens, learning that to deliver justice means to also deliver safety. And that means leading a city where you recognize the bravery.
Oh yeah, you claim to support the Republic, yet you represent Queens. Sauce.
Men and women who joined the NYPD and put their lives on the line. It means representing the Muslims who were illegally surveilled in my district and the black and brown New Yorkers who've been victims of police brutality.
So Mr. Sliwa, you've been out there, you've been on the trains, and I would like to know if you believe changes are needed of how officers are disciplined.
Let me just suggest, Zoran, what you've suggested.
Zoran Curtis.
Zoran.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
See, you can get it right. You say Joran. Jaman Mamamani. Bajabajabadibibi. Zoran Hussein Mamjam.
Let me just suggest that what you have proposed with this new police outrage unit will endanger women and children in domestic violence situations. I know I've been involved in so many of them with the Guardian.
I'm sure you have been involved in a lot of domestic violence situations. Yes, I'm sure you have. As the perpetrator, yeah.
An angel. They will be killed. They will be maimed. Number two, in dealing with emotionally...
What are you talking about? In what way is that the case? Look, you've just asserted that, and quite literally...
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Like, what are you talking about, mate? How do you get from what he said to that situation? What are you talking about? Join the dots for me, friend.
Disturbed persons that I have dealt with for all my years as the Guardian Angels. You need...
Oh, he's mentioned the Guardian Angels again. Fucking kill me in Minecraft. Hello there, Lesbian Hot Sauce. How are you? Everyone go and follow Lesbian Hot Sauce immediately. Do it.
Trained professional police officers. Yes, you can have mental health workers with them. Thank you, Mr. But that has been suggested. It was done before by the homeless outreach unit, and the guy you thought was the best mayor, Bill de Blasio, disbanded.
Mr. Sliwa, thank you. Brief response.
To be very clear, the Department of Community Safety is not about responding to calls of domestic violence. We are speaking about mental health crisis and the homelessness crisis. These are the focuses of the work that they will do.
All right. We have other questions for that a little later in the debate, but we want to just change the pace a little bit, candidates, switching gears to the high cost of living in New York City. To kick us off, we have a few quick pocketbook questions that New Yorkers wrestle with daily. So we want to know how much you spend a week on groceries. We'll begin with you, Mr. Cuomo.
Depends how many times my daughters come over, but probably about $150.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, I'd say about $175 with a gallon of milk, now $5 and always rising up. Loaf of bread.
But I thought the eggs were going to be basically free under Trump. What happened, Mr. Sliwa? Did he not actually have a magical tool that just turns economics off?
Simple loaf of bread. It used to be 99 cents. It's like $3 now.
Thank
the
you,
price is too.
Mr. Sliwa,
It's
thank
too
you.
costly.
The brief answer. Thank you. Mr. Mamdani.
Yeah, I actually agree with Curtis on that. It is too costly. Now that eggs are down to less than $4, though, my average spend every week is about $125, $150.
All right. Do you carry credit card debt or do you pay it off every month? Mr. Mamdani?
I pay it off every month.
Mr. Cuomo?
Paid off.
Mr. Sliwa?
I don't have a credit card. I have a debit card.
And for the record, what is your monthly rent or mortgage, Mr. Sliwa?
About $3,900.
I'm sorry, is this The Price is Right now? What the fuck is this turned? This isn't useful information. Look, if you're going to do the do you know what ordinary New Yorkers do, like, ask them what the price of things are. That makes sense. I don't mind that. Like, if you say to them, give them like a shopping list. Say, oh, if you go and buy a loaf of bread, 12 eggs, a gallon of milk, blah blah blah, and then ask them to add that up and come to the, like, what do you think that would cost, and then that gives you an indication of like how in touch with reality they are. That's fine. But just going, how much do you spend, and they can go $200. Like, who cares? Like, what the fuck? What use of that is that information? Like, so what? I don't fucking do what? Like, unless they say $3 or $1 million, like, it doesn't matter. Because even if they say slightly more, if they said like $300, you'd go, well, they're rich or whatever. Like, they can probably afford to buy, like, you know, first press olive oil, you know.
It's not subsidized there, so.
Mr. Mamdani, what is your monthly rent or mortgage?
$2,300.
Mr. Cuomo?
He has a rent-stabilized apartment that a poor person's supposed to have. Mine is about $7,800.
We are actually getting to.
We're gonna cover that.
Hang on, he rents. There's no way Cuomo fucking rents, is there? Surely he owns his own house. The amount of money he's illicitly spent, or illicitly, like, taken in bribes, there's no way he doesn't own a house, right? 7,000. Yeah, is that? Yeah, that's probably a lot. Yeah, rent or mortgage. Hang on, do I rent or do I have a mortgage? Because that's a very personal question. I'm not running for election. Fucking do one, bruv. What the f... Just weird sex perverts in that family. No, but that's what I mean. There's no way, like, why would he even have a mortgage? Like, he's an old man who's been very corrupt for a long time. Why doesn't he own a house? Like, he must own properties, surely.
Sally?
Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit more about the runaway rent in this city. Mr. Mamdani, you're pledging to freeze rent for nearly 1 million rent stable.
He might be taxi, I don't fucking know. American property stuff is weird.
Apartments. That really affects less than half of all rentals in the city. What is your plan for those who aren't in stabilized apartments but are struggling to pay the rent? What are you going to do for them?
Maybe he's adding into that rent, because like you say, 7,800, that is a fucking lot. Maybe he's adding in the cost of all of those abortions for his mistresses and filing under rent, you know? Maybe.
Well, I'm proud to say that yes, will freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants, and I will also build 200,000 truly affordable homes across the 5 boroughs over the next 10 years to ensure.
He's gonna do house communism, everyone. Let's fucking go!
ensure that tenants, whether rent stabilized or market rate, can actually have more housing such that they are not being priced out of this city. And finally, I'm also going to make it easier for the private sector to build housing in this city, because what we see today is that it's not labor, it's not materials, it's the weight that is often costing so much to actually build the housing we need in this city.
Thank you. And a follow-up for you, Mr. Mamdani. The cost of maintaining a building change year to year for landlords. The Rent Guidelines Board is legally required.
Won't someone think of the landlords?
To consider those costs when deciding whether to freeze rents. So how can you promise a rent freeze today before ever seeing that data next year?
Finally, those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes, eh? Hey, comrades, eh?
You know, we've seen the data time and again. It's It's been data that's been overruled by mayors again and again. The last Rent Guidelines Board study showed that profits were up 12% for landlords of those units. And what did they do? They raised the rent, adding to more than 12% under Eric Adams' administration. What I am speaking about is actually reflecting the needs of these New Yorkers and the state of the market today. These are New Yorkers who have a median household income of $60,000. We do not need to be pushing them.
How do I make them a VIP? Can you do that? Or do I have to do that? Are they in here tonight? I don't see them. Oh no, there they are, yeah. Okay. Hang on a minute. How do I make you a VIP? Because you're quite right, they do deserve a VIP. But that's... Well, I can mod them. There you go, I'll mod Journeying Jordan. Warn. Time out. Ban. No, I don't want any of those things, thank you very much. VIP everyone, because chaos on Twitch. It's a streamer thing. Well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the fuck to do. If you tell me how to do that, I will do it. Oh god. Ask Google. I'm not asking shit.
Further out of the city, we need to keep them in their homes.
Aren't you saying in that answer that you are going to prejudge? You will not have seen the data for next year, and you're making a determination based on data you haven't seen.
I've seen the data year after year of the fact that salaries are stagnating, costs are up, New Yorkers can't actually afford their apartments. And I will also take action to actually ensure that the landlords of those buildings...
All right, you type VIP slash... Oh, okay. Hang on. Hang on.
And better handle their costs by taking on their insurance, their property taxes, and their water bills.
And you haven't seen next year's data yet, but we're going to go to...
I do have a question for you on this subject. You have proposed something that you're calling Zoran's Law. You think that Mr. Mamdani earns too much to live in his rent-stabilized apartment, though I should note that there are no income tests for rent-stabilized apartments. But critics say your plan would force people to pay too much of their income towards the rent. So if you think Mr. Mamdani is gaming the system, what about the other New Yorkers, thousands of them just like him, who earn similar salaries, who are living in similar apartments?
Okay, just to follow up on what Sally was saying, because she's right. This is not a new plan that the Assemblyman...
Hey, there you go, VIPs for everyone. Or at least for Journeying Jordan and Lesbian Hot Sauce. Fuck yeah.
It's talking about it's Bill de Blasio's plan. It was called Freeze the Rent. Bill de Blasio says the mayor can't say legally he's going to freeze the rent. There's a Rent Guidelines Board. There are certain considerations that have to be looked at. You're right, Sally. You can't say today what it's going to be in 4 years. Also, freeze the rent only postpones the rent, because then you have to have an increase to cover the costs. Otherwise, the building is going to go bankrupt. And it does nothing for the majority of renters who aren't in these rent-stabilized units. Does nothing for NYCHA. Does nothing for homeowners. Does nothing for people in black-brown communities who are getting priced out. I was the HUD secretary. I built affordable housing all across this nation. I built affordable housing in this city when I was in my 20s. I know how to get it done. I will get it done. On the rent-stabilized units, what I'm saying is those are the precious units, and we should keep them for the most rent burden.
We have to move on. But I have a question for you.
No, sorry, he invoked me for much of that question. Just a very brief response here.
Very brief.
You know, you've heard it from Andrew Cuomo that the
Yeah, means testing is dumb, yeah.
Number one crisis in this city, the housing crisis, the answer is to evict my wife and I. He thinks you address this crisis.
True. He does think that because he's a cunt, yeah.
By unleashing my landlord's ability to raise my rent. If you think that the problem in this city is that my rent is too low, vote for him. If you know the problem in this city is that your rent is too high, vote.
Well, it's always been too high. I literally, one of the first memes I ever fucking saw was this is old school, and I think this was New York City as well, wasn't it?
Mr. McMillan, would you like 30 seconds more?
Allow me to introduce myself. I represent the rent is too damn.
Look at.
Would you like 30 seconds more?
Allow me to introduce myself.
Look at that. Look at the fucking pure, unadulterated drippiness of the man. Look at it. Gaze upon his beauty. And know that you will never be as cool as this man. And that's fine, chat. We can only hope to aspire to this level of cool.
I represent the rent is too damn.
Oh, we didn't have a noise. Thank you, Debbie P, for becoming a member on the YouTubes. Much love! Anyway.
Would you like 30 seconds more?
Allow me to introduce myself. I represent the rent is too damn high party. People are working 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week to some a third job. Women can't afford to take care of their children, feed their children breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My main job is to provide a roof over your head, food on the table, and money in your pocket. This is politics as usual. Playing a silly game, but it's not going to happen. The rent too damn high movement, the people I'm here to represent can't afford to pay their rent. They're being laid off right now as I speak. They can't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Listen, someone's stomach, child's stomach just growled. Did you hear it? Gotta listen like me.
Okay,
let's
Mr.
talk
McMillan.
about the issue.
Mr.
People can't afford
Mr.
to pay their
Cuomo,
rent.
30
Stop.
seconds for you, sir.
Rent is too damn high.
Thank you. There is.
The rent is too damn high. Man's a legend. And then you saw a young, stupid Andrew Cuomo. What a prick. Anyway, and that was from like 20 years ago. So, like, if that motherfucker was clued in 20 years ago about this, like, come on now. Come on. When is Helena being VIP? She's never in here. She don't come into chat. And that's fine. Like, she's got her own shit to be doing. But, you know, she's not here. What's the point? Too damn high. Honestly, if I could have facial hair like that, I would. Even though it's grey, I'd still have it. In a heartbeat.
For me.
If I understand it
Sons
correctly,
of
Mr. Cuomo,
millionaires
your
need
program,
subsidized
Zoran's law
housing.
would not evict Mr. Mamdani.
It would not evict him.
It would
No,
apply
he
to
just-
people applying for
He-
apartments.
yeah,
but
he's
the
making
tenant
it up.
but the
He
tenant
made it up.
advocates.
It would evict
All right.
no one.
This
It would
does
be
not
an
affect.
income
We
limitation.
have to move.
What are you talking about? It wouldn't evict anyone. So you'd still... So you'd call it Mamdani's law specifically because Mamdani lives in a place that you don't think he should live, but you wouldn't evict him even though he's taking up the house that should be going to a poorer person. So what's the point then? Like, what will this achieve? I mean, much like your campaign, nothing. It will achieve nothing. Oh, Jesus Christ, Trip Chip, I don't need to know this. I don't need to know this. Oh. People are eating. Listen, people are eating.
I have a
Mr.
question
Sliwa.
for Mrs.
This is
Sliwa.
like
Rosarina-
a spat in the schoolyard. Let me
No,
suggest.
Mr.
Can I
Sliwa,
please
Rosarina
ask
has
a
a
question?
specific question for you on this.
Yeah, well, I wanted to
Right
talk about
Well, you
affordability
can
and
use it, 'cause-
obviously address
Absolutely.
that
Go
issue.
ahead.
So you've proposed, Mr. Sliwa, plans that would made a point of talking about the struggle
Hang on, has he condemned Hassan Piker? Have you got a link for that, Thinking Sabercat?
of renters and property owners. Describe your plan to help renters and landlords.
Well, first off, we have 6,000 available apartments that the mayor controls in night shift, and they've been empty for years. That you address number one. Then we talk about senior citizens who are living here. My whole goal is to improve and not to move. I'm concerned about the seniors, especially those that own homes. If they're 60...
Declare your interest. Because he's fucking old as well. God, I'm fucking special.
65 and make less than $250,000, no property tax, because the property tax is way too high. We need to cut it in half to keep people who are here. And then in terms of rentals, we have affordable housing that can be built in these huge skyscrapers. You see them all throughout Manhattan and in northern Brooklyn and in Long Island City, which we have 25 Empire State Buildings full of commercial space that will never be occupied for office space. We should be converting them into affordable apartments. They're in dense areas. The infrastructure can support it. I'm the only candidate here who's against the city of Yes that would destroy residential neighborhoods.
I have to interrupt you because we have a programming moment right now. We're about halfway through the...
Jesus Christ, we're only fucking halfway through. Mamdani... Oh, Jesus Christ, I've turned into fucking Kurt Sluwer. Mamdani condemns Hassan Piker for reprehensible 9... Well, he hasn't disavowed him. He just said the thing he said was wrong. He refused to disavow him. He said, I'll talk to anyone, even if I disagree with them, you know?
Mayoral debate. Channel 4 and Telemundo 47 will return to regular programming, but we got a lot to get to, and you can continue on
hurry up.
Talk now. Even though they're in their waning days, who has a MetroCard or maybe uses OmniPay?
Uses OmniPay?
Yeah, OmniPay, yeah. MetroCard, I mean, I have one, but, you know, I know I'm hanging on to the last moment.
So you're on the subways, Mr. Sliwa. What do you use?
What the fuck? So what was that question? Do you use the system to pay for the transport in the city? Again, it's much like how much do you pay for rent? That's not... it's nothing. It's nothing.
Use. I'm just curious if you don't.
Omnicard.
I mean, it's not as bad as the journalism we dealt with earlier, but it's still shite.
In fact, I got a whole batch. Okay. I'm in the subways, I'm in the buses, and the express buses. Okay. The only candidate who rides mass transit every day.
When you need to get somewhere.
Oh, what the fuck? You can't violate me like this. I'm like queso, really. You cheeky cunts. Thank you, NYC guy. I use OmniCard. It's like MetroCard with Bluetooth. Yeah, I assumed it was like that. In London, they've got this thing called the Oyster Card, which I think works on a similar basic principle. Where you just scan the thing, it goes beep, and like if you've got money on the card, you can like it'll like, take the money off for whatever journey you do. I don't even know who that is. Queso, he's a fun streamer actually, but like again, I'm not every fat guy with a beard. I am like some of them, to be fair, but not all of them. Been absolutely fucking scorched.
Fast, and you can't take the train. Do you hail a taxi? Do you use rideshare? Mr. Sliwa, what do you do?
I try to avoid yellow cabs. As you know, I was shot in the back of a yellow cab in 1992 by the Gottis and Gambinos.
What the fuck is... What? He is a fucking soprano. He's a soprano. And I don't mean he sings in a high-pitched voice. I mean, like, I got shot in the back of a cab by the Gottis and Gambinos. Like, what the fuck is this? Also, you do realise it's not being in the back of a cab that was the issue. You know, they could have shot you anywhere, right? Look, I understand if it's like a traumatic thing, if like being in a black cab or a yellow cab is like a triggering thing for you. If that's like a thing that brings up the bad memories, that's fine. But like, we're not here to be your fucking therapist, mate. That's why you go to the therapist and you work through that so that you can use the yellow cabs again. Because it's not the yellow cabs that are the problem. It's the shooty shoot. You know, John Lennon was killed in the same city with a gun. He wasn't in a cab. Seems like the cab is not the unique experience there, you know? It's not the... No. Is the unique experience. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm a fat guy with a beard. My name is also Kev. Am I you? Well, it's the Morton. Apparently, yes. Apparently, we are the same person. Yeah. John Lennon had just gotten out of a cab. Yeah, but he wasn't in the cab, was he? And the person that shot him wasn't in the cab either. The cab was incidental to the shooting. I think my point still stands. JFK wasn't in a cab, although he was in a car. So maybe there's a motor vehicle thing in there. Are there any examples of people not being shot in cars? Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot in a car. You know what? The pieces start to come together. Maybe he's onto something. Don't get into cars, you will be shot. Vote Sliwa.
But I'd find my way around. If I have to, I Uber if I can't get there by mass transit.
What do you do, Mr. Mamdani, if you can't take the train?
I would either take a cab or ride a bike.
Mr. Cuomo?
I will take a cab, Uber.
Okay. All right, thanks, gentlemen. Sally?
Thank you, David.
What was the point? What was the point of this question? I'll take an Uber. Because, like, how would we even know, right? And what difference does it make? Like, because it doesn't matter how rich you are. If you're in New York City, you have to use one of these things to get around. Look, in theory, you could be, like, driven around in a chauffeur-driven car, but that's not a very effective or, like, quick way of doing things. So you'd have to get on the subway or, you know, whatever.
Let's talk about free
Look,
buses.
it doesn't tell us anything about the person. Like, if the point of these kind of non-directly political questions is supposed to be that you learn something about the person and how well they're connected to the people, their constituents that they're trying to represent or whatever, and it doesn't get you anywhere. In that question doesn't take you anywhere. You don't understand the people any more than you did before, because like the Cuomo takes an Uber isn't anything. That doesn't change anyone. There is not a single person who saw that answer that changed their opinion of either Mario Cuomo or Andrew Cuomo in the slightest, because it's irrelevant information. I also am not voting for someone based upon their fucking shoe size or what toppings they like on a pizza. It's nothing. Look, you've got such a good opportunity as a journalist, and it annoys me because it's not the worst of journalism, right? The worst of journalism is the dog shit we dealt with earlier, and the fact that, you know, the manufacturing of consent for all kinds of evil shit like war and genocide and fucking starvation. But it's another aspect of why the media is so hated and so shit, is that they do this softball nonsense. They have a real limited amount of time to ask these incredibly powerful people serious questions, to examine them, to test them in the crucible of truth and light. And they ask them, do you take a taxi? Fucking hell. Imagine that. You get into journalism to go and ask fucking a 13-time accused sexual assaultist whether he takes the fucking taxi. Fucking hell. Just a waste of everyone's time.
Mr. Mamdani, this is a centerpiece of your campaign. Can you explain how you will make buses free? You have 30 seconds to answer.
By paying for them. By doing bus communism. Hang on, stop. I don't know why it did that. I was trying to make it stop, but it didn't.
Absolutely. We will make buses free by replacing the revenue that the MTA currently gets from buses. This is revenue that's around $700 million or so. That's less money than Andrew Cuomo gave to Elon Musk in $959 million.
Finally, those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes, eh? Hey, comrades! Hey!
in tax credits when he was the governor. And the reason that we will do
Boom.
so is that making buses...
Mamdani from the top rope with an elbow drop. Skull shattering.
free doesn't just provide economic relief, but also public safety, because what we've seen is that it decreases assaults on bus drivers by 38.9%. New Yorkers deserve more than the slowest buses in the country. I know that because I was on the M57 not too long ago, and its average speed is 4.9 miles
We're at
an
time,
hour.
though, but the question is how...
That's like walking speed. That's fucking walking speed. And it's true. There are parts of London that are like that, where it's literally quicker to walk. It's quicker to use your fucking feet than the combustion engine. That's not normal, lads. That's pathetic. We've allowed our great cities to just crumble into, like, antediluvian fucking irrelevance, I suppose. You know.
You'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares, and that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany, and I've put forward two proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
We're going to move along, but...
Based. Extremely based.
I just want to point out to viewers that Governor Hochul has opposed raising the income tax. But Melissa, we'll move on to your question.
Could I address that on the buses? Because half the people don't pay their bus fare to begin with, Zorhan. And so it's...
Zorhan.
Curtis Zoran.
It's a complete disaster. If you have free bus fare, and the Citizens Budget Commission said just last year, 2024, $1 billion of fare evasion in all different forms. This MT...
He's just old man shouts at cloud. The young people today, they're not paying their bus fare. All right, geezer. Jesus Christ, calm yourself.
system will collapse. There's not enough money out there to make up for fare evasion. Pay your fare. If you don't pay your fare, they have fare programs for the poor and the indigent. But everybody should be forced to pay their...
The indigent? What the fuck? Are you from the 19th century? The indigent? These vagabonds and ragamuffins? These street urchins? The fuck is... You're so old, mate. Just fuck off. Honest to God.
Fair. Mr. Cuomo, you had both praise and some criticism for Mr. Mamdani's free bus pilots. You're sort of in the middle on this issue. What's your plan to make subways and buses more affordable?
I think free buses is a mistake. It costs about $700 million. Just to give you an idea that we only...
Kev's Big Naturals. Look at that. Oh, hello. Hello. Accurate picture. Completely 100% what I actually look like. Fact.
You are coping and seething.
Shut up, soundboard.
Only raise about 500 from congestion pricing. It's been done before in other cities. It was a disaster. They stopped. They basically became mobile homeless gathering places. What I say is free buses for working families who can't...
Is that before you went to see the... Yeah, it was Hypnoboob. That's me after my Hypnoboob therapy. It works, chat. It works.
Afford it, and free subways for working families. But don't subsidize rich people on a bus, and it's been tried and it's failed.
Mr. Mamdani, can you just respond quickly on the point about the mobile homeless gathering places?
You know, this is something that we heard when we were fighting to make buses free in Albany when we delivered the first fare-free bus lines in New York City history. And what we saw is when we made one bus route free in each borough of New York City, there was no increase in homelessness on those buses. There was no increase in fare evasion in the surrounding area. What there was an increase in ridership of up to 38%.
Thank you, Mr. Mamdani.
How much to wear that dress on street? Well, firstly, I'd have to buy the dress. in a slightly larger size, I imagine, than that. And then, I don't know, tenner. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see much of it, to be fair, because, like, I mean, it's a small little window, isn't it?
Candidates, maybe we can dig deeper on this and get a sense of how all of you would pay for your big ideas. Mr. Ramdani, we'll start with you. We've obviously been talking about free buses. You've talked about free childcare, city-run grocery stores. So essentially, you're proposing about $10 billion in new spending.
Communism.
And as you've indicated, you want to pay for it with tax increases. But as Sally pointed out, Governor Hochul said no to raising income tax on millionaires. So tell New Yorkers tonight how you're going to pay for all of this in 1 minute, if you can.
Look, a lot of people have called even my campaign a non-starter when we first began. And now I stand before you proud to be the Democratic nominee who got the most votes in city primary history. And
oh, flexitude. Do I have anything for that? I need more positive stuff. This is all... that's what I've noticed about the soundboard, is it's all like, this person's a cunt and stuff. I need more positive. I need like... Oh, hang on. I've got...
Epic dub.
That's all right. That'll do for now.
And I believe we will see the same thing with our push to ensure that we are taxing the wealthiest and the most profitable corporations the fair amount that they should pay. Now, there are those who will say that because it will be hard, you should give up. We saw what giving up looked like when Andrew Cuomo was the governor. He gave up on fighting for working-class New Yorkers and instead caved in to his billionaire donors. And what did we get? We have the fastest and most frequent helicopter service to the Hamptons, and we have the slowest and more expensive bus service across the 5 boroughs.
Thank you, YC guy with 100 bitty bits. If someone else does a bitty bits or something, we go on a hype train, and then I can finger Mario Cuomo. Who doesn't want me to finger Mario Cuomo? He's a very relevant political figure in 2025. Why is Cuomo still here? Maybe he didn't learn his lesson during the primary. He's just trying to split the vote. He'd literally rather Sliwa win than for fuck's sake, Zamamdami. Jean-Man Kajambong Bang Jumbo. Mamdani. Mamdani! Fuck me, I literally, it's catching.
The return of the sausage.
It's catching. Much like me in the clap clinic, it's catching. Thank you. I could have gone with like me at second slip, catching, but it would have been a bit niche, I think.
That is a stiff dick of poop.
What is this? What is this nonsense? Someone needs to clip this. What is it?
Ooh. That was legitness. Yeah, it was. Huh?
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. I'll put that on. Where are we? I'll save that to the watch later, and then I'll edit some of those into the thing. Thank you. Thank you to Wayward Historian with 667, neighbour of the Beast Bitties, and thank you Niall1797 for 5 gifties. Much love. If we get to the next level of the hype train, I will finger Mario Cuomo. Where is he buried? He was an ugly man, good lord. Where is he buried? St. John's Cemetery. In New York City, yeah. A place I actually recognise, because that's where they filmed the what you call it, the sequence for the show Elementary, where they in the cemetery. They filmed a bit because his friend dies. Notable burials. There's some people with the Medal of Honor. There are lots of organised crime people, like a lot. John Gotti, Carlo Gambino, Joe Colombo, Salvatore de Aquila, and lots of other. Bill Dwyer, less Italian. Politicians, there are a few there. Do I know any of them? Mario Cuomo, obviously. Geraldine Ferrero, okay. Others. Do I know any of the others? No. No, I do not. No, I do not. Anyway, yes, bits and sobs if you want to do the thing. So yeah, the hype train. I want to help out the hype train. Yeah. Big Bill Dwyer was a famous bootlegger. Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
But again, Mr. Ramdani, I know Governor Hochul indicated this week there may be some open windows, but more or less income tax on millionaires is off the table, according to the governor.
Look, I've said very clearly, making buses fast and free costs about $700 million a year. Making universal child care a reality costs about $5 or $6 billion a year. If you raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, you'd be raising $5 billion in and of itself.
I have a couple of follow-ups. Mr. Sluber, you're next, but I have a couple of follow-ups.
I would just add one additional thing. We have also put forward a plan to save money here in New York City with $1 billion in savings through procurement reform, through following the independent budget office's assessment about hiring more fiscal auditors, and in actually collecting the fines and fees from bad landlords across the city.
Just a quick couple of follow-ups.
Nice. Fuck landlords.
Follow-ups. If you could find some of the funding, but not all of it, which of your priorities would come first? What would be the first among equals that you would try to get done?
Well, freezing the rent doesn't require any fiscal infusion, so that will be something we'll be pursuing immediately. And universal child care, after housing, is the second cost. Child care is the second cost pushing New Yorkers out of this city. $22,500 a year is the estimate we've seen.
Okay.
That will be a priority for us.
And I just want to know if you could get the money and funding elsewhere, would you drop the call for the tax increase?
Absolutely. The most important thing is funding these agenda items. I think these are the...
Wow. Like, the most he's pressed anyone on any topic is, can we have millionaires not taxed, please? Thank you, actually.
Two most important and straightforward direct ways to do so. But if the money comes from elsewhere, the most important thing is funding.
Melissa has a question for Mr. Sliwa.
Mr. Sliwa, you've been talking about cutting taxes and spending. So what is your plan, and how would you pay for your programs like 7,000 more cops?
Well, Zoran, boy, your fantasies are never going to come about in terms of funding everything you want that's going to be free, free, free. It's a fantasy. Let's deal with the reality. 7,000 cops. You already have a plan in Boston where you pay for taxes in the future. This is a great plan in which universities and others who have bought up properties that are now taken from the real estate market and taken from property tax paid. We could raise $1 billion from Columbia University, NYU, that are in the real estate business, and Madison Square Garden, your friends, Andrew Cuomo, Jimmy Dolan, who pays no property taxes. That's how you raise $1 billion to get 700 police officers trained, vetted, and out into the street in the 5 boroughs. And then the police will be on the subways, and they will be patrolling the old-fashioned way where they're needed, going up and down the moving subway cars where people want to see the visual protection, especially women who are being assaulted, perved, and like we saw this morning on 86th Street, a woman with a gun to her head, an armed robbery because we don't have enough cops.
I have a question for you in this time.
Cops don't stop any of that. What the fuck are you talking? Cops are more likely to be the abuser than to stop the abuse.
And let's talk about history, because as governor, you raised and cut taxes. Now you're proposing some tax relief. What's the price tag for your proposals, and where will you get the money for example, 5,000 new police officers? You have a minute to answer.
I think Sally's question was very well taken. The Assemblyman's whole plan is based on a myth. He's going to raise taxes. Albany's going to raise taxes statewide on corporations, but the money's only going to go to New York City. That could never happen. It's not just that the governor wouldn't support it. It's impossible. He said he's going to raise the taxes the same as New Jersey, corporate tax. No, it would be double the tax. You would see New Yorkers on...
What the fuck are you based on what?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
995 fleeing to Florida. We would be alone. So you have to be realistic with revenue. You have a $115 billion budget. You have to go through that city budget and find savings. I started the state, which is double the budget of the city, at a $10 billion deficit. I closed it and added services. And we can do the same with New York City.
Governor, as mayor, you would not increase spending in the New York City budget? Yes or no?
There would be, whatever additional spending would be revenue neutral.
So you
It's
find
impossible.
money
You got
somewhere else
to
in the budget.
cut taxes for people to stay here.
Thank
the
you.
Corporations
David?
are not going to
Yes.
stay here. They're
Okay.
being lured
All right, thank you.
south
Sorry.
to
We
cities that are more corporate
we
friendly.
want to get to
you got to cut the
all right,
property tax,
Sliwa, thank you.
income tax
Sliwa,
for
thank
those
you.
who are 19 to 28 who
Sliwa,
have skill levels
thank you.
if they go to school here.
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa.
Andrew Cuomo thinks it's all right to spend $60 million to fund his legal defense from accusations of more than a dozen women of sexual harassment. But
He's fucking good, man. Honestly.
Epic dub.
Absolute fucking king. Yeah. Why is it okay to spend 60 million of taxpayers' money to protect you, you fucking sex creep? Fucking glorious.
if I say we should spend the same amount of money on delivering cheaper groceries in this city through a
Okay.
pilot program,
All right, Mr. Mamdani.
that
Thank
is
you.
unfathomable.
Quick,
David,
and then
I
we
have
got
a
to
right
move on.
to respond
Yes,
to that.
quickly.
First, I did not bring those lawsuits. That was brought
They were
by a
brought
report
against
by
you.
the Attorney General, which I said was political.
Well, those
That's what
lawsuits were filed
generated
by
the
individual
legal fees.
women, and some of them have still been making their way through the courts this year and
Yes,
now.
and I've been dropped from the cases.
Not all of them.
Yeah. And the
So you are still. So the takeaway from that exchange is he's still on trial for sex crimes, or at least financially. So I don't think he's going to go to jail because he's a rich white guy. Of course he's going to go to. He's not going to go to jail. And he's even though he's an Italian American, they are considered white now. They are in the white people club.
The Assemblyman doesn't say is all this money that he wants to pass. The one thing he did do is he voted for a pay raise for himself. They're the highest paid legislators in the United States.
I did ask
And
the
he has
state
the worst
controller's
attendance
office
record.
this week. I did ask the state controller's office this week. The total was above 60 million, but just those sexual harassment cases to defend Governor Cuomo and his staff was about $21
Sorry, it was the
million
sexual
dollars.
harassment
I
and
just want to
nursing
clarify because you said 60, but
All right,
on those cases it is 21.
Okay. Thank you. We have to talk about
21
in the city. Let's turn to everyday life in the city and some issues a mayor can directly impact. We start with a couple of questions about 311, the number New Yorkers call or text for non-emergency help. First off, have you ever called 311, and if so, for what? Mr. Mamdani?
I called 311 for issues with my heating in my apartment, and I've spoken to New Yorkers time and time again who are frustrated by the fact that they can track their Uber Eats block by block, but when they call 311 for them to come to their apartment, it's just a question of hoping and praying that they do. There's no actual appointment. That's something that we would change.
All right, Mr. Sliwa, have you ever called 311?
You know, there used to be that song 911 is a joke by Public Enemy. 311 is a joke. You can call it over and over.
Did he just reference Public Enemy tune? What the fuck? What? I don't get him. What the fuck is this? That's wild. You know that tune by noted 80s fucking socialist rap outfit? Public Enemy? Yeah, spit us a few bars. Kurt, come on now, mate. What's going on? Who do you think the UK Cuomo is? Oh God, I don't know. The thing is, we don't have. Well, I would say we don't have Italians. That's not quite correct. But we don't have like Italian American culture is its own thing. Like it's. Yeah, it's. We don't really have anyone like that. I guess. Yeah, maybe George Galloway. I guess. Although George Galloway, to be fair, is not the corrupt person, financially corrupt person that we know Cuomo to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, for all of his faults, you know that George Galloway never claimed any expenses in Parliament? Literally true. Fair dues, you know? Whereas Cuomo was on the take constantly. He was paid by Russia Today, to be fair, yes, that is true. I'm not saying he's not morally corrupt, but, like, in terms of a transaction, that's a work done for pay, you know, that's whatever. Morally, it's fucked up, but economically, it's, you know, he did a job of work. He's not like a mafia kingpin like fucking Cuomo.
Over and over again, and you never get a response.
Have you?
The analytics are when the operators talk to you, as I talk to them.
Have you called?
Yes, I've called them many times and gotten no response.
Mr. Cuomo?
Most citizens I talk to in the subways and streets never get good responses from 311.
Short answer. Mr. Cuomo?
I've
He's just old man yells at cloud.
heard a lot of complaints about 311, so I actually made a call to 311.
Okay, we're going 1.25 because this is boring. Actually, we're going to go 1.5.
Myself to see if the complaints were bona fide, and I was dropped twice. Then they were going to send someone to help a homeless woman in distress, and no one showed up.
You're all expressing frustration.
He was dropped twice, but he didn't let it stop him because, again, to Andrew Cuomo, the word no doesn't exist.
Last year, 311 received 38 million contacts from New Yorkers, from calls to the website. Wanted to know if you had a sense across 5 boroughs what the top 2 categories of complaints were. What do you think they were, Mr. Sleewa?
Potholes, constantly potholes. People's undercarriages ripped out, ball bearings, alignments.
Second one, top 2?
Rats.
Rats, okay.
Oh, the city is flooded with rats.
Mr. Cuomo, what do you think?
Rats!
Top 2 complaints were?
Homeless and trash rats.
All right, Mr. Mamdani?
There was housing and noise.
Okay, so the answer is noise and illegal parking. And we're going to stick with quality of life. Rosarina?
That's right. Let's talk about noise.
He's the only one that got any correct. Well done.
Because they fall into these 2 categories. First of all, is the residential one, that's the neighbors and the loud music. And the second one is the street or sidewalk, everything with the loud construction and workers outside. So, Mr. Cuomo, as mayor, what can you do to help the city that never sleeps get a little bit of rest, Mr. Cuomo?
Yeah, look, I think...
and you can't just say Rehypnol for everything, okay? Come on.
If the 311 system worked well, if there was actually contact with people, I think New Yorkers would get it. I think New Yorkers would be responsive. I think we have to change the ethos in the city, the ethic in the city. Right now it's toxic, it's divisive, everyone's angry at everyone. I think when we have public safety that's functional again, and New Yorkers are part of that system...
Andrew, don't even fucking insult me. That's not even a question. Who would win in a fight, New York rats or Brummie rats? New York rats are fucking pussies, okay? Brummie rats would fucking eat them. They would slap them about and fucking eat them. You're having a fucking laugh, mate. My city's been going through some shit lately, okay? We've been used as a political football. But the one thing we can always rely on is massive rats. Fuck yes. Today's first poll. Kev, does Kev have a reputation? Of course, love it. And then New York Rats versus Brummie Rats. Rat team... What? The rats team up and fight human. To be fair, that would, yeah. I think the Brummie Rats are prepared to negotiate some kind of... a popular front, if you will, against the humans. But then after the humans are defeated, they go their separate ways.
I think they would be more cooperative than you think.
Thank you very much.
There's no proposal.
Mr. Sleewa, how would you quiet a little bit the city that never sleeps?
In the outer boroughs, I see problems all the time, quality of life issues. 18-wheel tractor trailers, RVs parked everywhere. Garbage that's not picked up and collected. In the city, we've seen trash cans taken away by the sanitation department, Jessica Tisch, when she was the commissioner. The quality of life has diminished noticeably. So naturally, people are going to revert to 311. But it's important that a mayor be able to provide services to all the people. And they believe if quality of life is diminished, the next stop is sell your house and leave the city. And my goal is to improve and not move.
Mr. Mamdani, your turn.
What we've seen is one of the biggest sources of noise in the city is from congestion. And with the implementation of congestion pricing, we've actually seen noise complaints drop in the congestion zone. And so I would continue to find ways to ensure that we have reduced congestion across the city. And one of the ways is by making the slowest buses in America ones that are fast and free, so that New Yorkers can not only live a life of excellent quality of life, but also be able to get around the city without having to worry if they have $2.90 or soon to be $3 in their pocket, which is already out of reach for 1 in 5 New Yorkers.
We have here the author of congestion pricing, and we have the apprentice of congestion pricing.
We might
the only candidate who's...
The fuck are you talking about, you freak?
opposed to congestion pricing.
Thank you.
It has led to storefronts closing because they don't have enough food.
We need to move on, otherwise we might have to place a call to 311 about candidates going over there a lot of time. Okay, so we're going to move on to we're going to move on to illegal parking plaques in many neighborhoods. Recently, Councilmember Lincoln Ressler released a study that found 450 vehicles parked illegally during the day in downtown Brooklyn, many with fake or government placards. That's just one snapshot of the city, but you hear similar complaints everywhere. So how would you fix this specific situation? You'll have 30 seconds. Mr. Sleewer will begin with you.
Well, obviously, placards have been abused consistently. You have people who've created fake placards. Not only that, you have people with fake license plates, paper plates. There's all violations against the transportation rules and regulations of where you can park a vehicle. There's just no enforcement. And that's because we don't have police. We have these e-bikes going up and down. We have the motorbikes. They're not following rules and regulations. They should be licensed. They should have a way of being identified. This way, enforcement can take place because people are terrified walking out into the streets.
Mr. Mamdani, your plan for illegal parking?
We have to showcase that accountability is true, whether for New Yorkers who are just living in the city or those who are working for the city. And the violation of traffic laws are violations no matter who is doing it, and to show that accountability is something my city government is actually going to pursue.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo.
On the quality of life, you're right, is very, very important. On the placards, I would make it simple. I would recall all the city placards and reissue only those that are bona fide.
Yeah, you're against corruption now, of course you are. Thank you everyone for the hype train. I've got to go into St. Joseph's Cemetery in New York City.
You really are the most devious bastard in New York City.
To finger a corpse.
Period. On day one. On the quality of life issues, the worst thing that could happen is if the Assemblyman's proposal for legalizing prostitution went through. That would be terrible for the quality of life. He also doesn't want to enforce misdemeanors. That's assault, larceny, etc. That would be terrible.
We're going to have time to address that.
I want to be very clear. Not only have I never called for the legalization of prostitution, I'm not calling for that today either. And I also have never said anything about not enforcing misdemeanors. This is just yet another figment of Andrew Cuomo's imagination.
The DSA, which you give a part of your salary to, that's their position. Abolish jails, no new carceral facilities.
Okay, but that's not his position.
Coping so high, coping and seething.
Don't enforce misdemeanors, and you're on the bill in Albany as a sponsor to decriminalize prostitution.
The difference between myself and Andrew Cuomo, of which there are many, is that there's no one that is actually telling me what to do other than the 8.5 million people who call this city home. Who want my policies, you'll find them on my website.
Who told you to legalize prostitution?
Wait, we actually have a question. Andrew, you can't escape.
He doesn't want to legalize prostitution. He literally just said that.
You signed the law doing away with loitering for prostitution. That was the law put forward by Jesse Ramos. You started the prostitution in East Elmhurst, and Jackson Heights, and Flushing.
Mr. Sleewer,
and you want to add to it, which diminishes the quality of life.
Mr. Sleewer, when I talk over you, nobody's hearing you. We actually have a question on that, so we'll let Rosarina ask.
And for this question, candidates, we want to come to Queens, where we know that prostitution has been an ongoing complaint. Mayor Adams formed a task force and ordered sweeps by the NYPD, but the situation continues, especially around the very popular Roosevelt Avenue. As mayor, Mr. Mamdani, how would you handle this situation? You have 30 seconds.
I want to first be clear that I am not, and nor have I ever called for the legalization of prostitution. And if you are happy with what's happening on Roosevelt Avenue, then you should vote for Andrew Cuomo, because his policy is to continue the exact same ones we've seen under Eric Adams. My policy is to actually take on sex trafficking, to have a zero tolerance for violence against women, and to follow the advice of district attorneys that we have here in New York City, the current Manhattan DA, the former Manhattan DA, the current Brooklyn DA, the former Manhattan DA having said that prosecuting women for prostitution is something that actually leads to less safety. And what we need to do is provide an economy of opportunity.
Yeah, decriminalization is different than legalization, yes.
Quick clarification. So no legalization, how about decriminalization?
I do not think that we should be prosecuting women who are struggling, who are currently being thrown in jail, and then being offered job opportunities. I think we should be actually providing those kinds of opportunities at the first point of interaction.
Mr. Cuomo, your turn.
Look, Bill de Blasio, the Assemblyman is a mini-me BDB, okay? He's Bill de Blasio light.
Are you suggesting that Zohran Mamdani has a BBL? Because you know what, I was already going to illegally vote for him many, many times. But if he's caked up, let's fucking go.
Proposed legalizing prostitution. He didn't get it, and he just told the cops, don't arrest any more prostitutes. There is a bill in Albany that he signed that says the prostitution, that a woman who is a prostitute, that would be decriminalized. That is...
Yeah, decriminalization is not legalization. What the fuck are you talking about?
What the bill says. And that's what he said, if you listen very carefully. That would take Roosevelt Avenue and explode it, because it would make it legal for prostitutes.
Real quick, how would you handle this situation?
You have to enforce the law. It's illegal. I went to Roosevelt Avenue. I talked to the store owners. I talked to the neighbors. I walked down Roosevelt Avenue with prostitutes there at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Your turn, Mr. Siwa.
I've dealt with this back in the 80s and 90s in Hell's Kitchen in Chelsea when they were overrun with open-air prostitution and Times Square. You don't go after the women. The women are the victims here. You lock up the Johns, you shame the Johns. You let everybody know about the Johns. The madams and the pimps need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And these absentee landlords who knowingly rent...
So are you arguing that you should decriminalise it then so that women don't get treated that way, Mr. Sliwa?
Their rooms, their apartments out for the use of prostitution. The Department of Building should come in, padlock the building, seize the building. Because many of these landlords live in Delray, Florida. They did back in the 80s and 90s when we did it in Chelsea and Times Square and Hell's Kitchen. And they're doing it again, and there's no enforcement. That's why the prosecution...
We're going to go to Sally now.
Thank you, David. We're going to talk a bit about experience and beliefs. We've covered a lot of ground tonight, but we want to probe a bit deeper into each of your mindsets and how you'll approach governing as mayor. Mr. Cuomo, you have touted your experience on the campaign trail time and again, but you pretty squarely lost the Democratic primary to Mr. Mamdani, forcing you, a lifelong Democrat, to run as an independent. When you announced that decision, you said, quote, "When you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up." What lesson did you learn, and what do you feel it said about you, something you did wrong, something that you need to change about yourself?
Yeah, I think in the primary campaign, I did not do enough on social media, which is a very effective medium now. I think the Assemblyman did do a better job on TikTok and social media than I did during the campaign, and that has changed now.
Really? Because you're, like, very badly in third position. So I don't think your TikTok game is quite strong enough.
I've also increased my activity significantly, but my agenda is exactly the same. I am the Democrat, although I'm not on the Democratic line. He is a Democratic socialist, called Barack Obama evil and a liar. Didn't vote for...
Because he is. He is those things.
Kamala Harris. Fight and deliver is, I will fight for people, I will fight the bureaucracy, and I will deliver results. New Yorkers need the mayor to get something done. This is all words and theories. I am a manager who can actually get things done.
This is a question about self...
Right. Okay, babe. Thank you, NYC guys. Is maybe stop asking about Israel. That didn't help Cuomo at all. Yeah. Like, they keep trying to smear Mamdani. He's got me saying Mamdani, and I know that's not right. Zlatan Ibrahimovic as an anti-Semite, and and it doesn't work. The vast majority, seemingly, of New Yorkers, or not necessarily the vast majority, but a plurality of New Yorkers want to vote for him, including Jewish New Yorkers. So, you know.
Reflection is the thing you're reflecting on the most, that you need to be on social media more. Was there any other deeper lesson that you...
Between the two campaigns, social media, more accessibility.
Okay.
I just have to say, it's been an hour and 20 minutes of this debate, and we haven't heard Governor Cuomo say the word affordability. That's why he lost the primary. That's why he'll lose the general election. And you can lie all you want, but the truth is, I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm the only candidate on the stage to have the endorsement of Kamala Harris, and I'm not the one who's funded by Bill Ackman.
Jesus Christ! Did Harris endorse Mamdani? That's amazing. I'd have thought she'd been one of the holdouts. What the fuck is this? What is this? I'm not even from London. What the oh, God. And why are these people Victorian peasants? What the what is this? Yeah, Kevin JD fans. True. We do enjoy fucking couches. Not together, but, you know, separately.
Who called Kamala Harris unqualified to be the vice president of this country.
Okay, may I respond?
Yes,
look, there are a lot of New Yorkers who support me. And there are a lot of Jewish New Yorkers who support me because they think you're anti-Semitic. So...
Yeah, and they're wrong.
It's not about Trump or Republican. It's about you. Do you think he's anti-Semitic, Mr. Cuomo? I don't make those judgments about people. Are you a racist? Are you an anti-Semite? I know there are many Jewish people who believe he's anti-Semitic.
I don't make that judgment. Perhaps you fucking should, you cunt. Maybe you should call people who are racist.
I believe not condemning the globalized intifada, what he has said about Hamas.
But Mr.
I can see where they
I covered
are
your,
inflamed.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I covered your speech in an Upper West Side synagogue where you said anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. There is no difference, and you were talking about Mr. Mamdani. Is that not an allegation?
No, I make that statement all the time. I wasn't referring to Mamdani.
Yeah, and you're a piece of shit for saying it. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. You cunt.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mamdani, a brief response, and then we have to move on.
I have denounced Hamas again and again. It will never be enough for Andrew Cuomo, because what he is willing to say, even though not on this stage, is to call me, the first Muslim on the precipice of leading this city, a terrorist sympathizer, is to send mailers that artificially lengthen my beard, is to say to New Yorkers that they should be fearful. What I will do
Melissa has a specific question
Mr.
for you.
Mamdani, you are the Democratic nominee, and you're also a member, as we've been discussing, of a political organization that may be less familiar to New Yorkers, the Democratic Socialists of America, which believes in dismantling capitalism. New York City is the
Finally, those capitalist pigs will pay for their crimes, eh? Hey, comrades, hey?
global headquarters of the finance industry. So how would you be the mayor of Wall Street and the DSA? You have 1 minute.
I would bulldoze Wall Street and use it to line the fucking my kitty litter tray. That's how I'll fucking do it.
Would be the mayor of this entire city, and that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets. Because what we have today is a system that has generated the most wealth in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, where 1 in 4 of our neighbors are living in poverty. That's unacceptable. We can't look at 500,000 kids hungry every single night as just the cost of doing business in the city. That's something we have to actually change, and I'm going to do that by fighting for my neighbors in Queens that I've come to know, who are not only the ones who own teapots and toy stores, who own diners and dry cleaners, but also the ones who work there. Because right now, all of them are being pushed out of the city by corporate greed, by private equity, and by a politics that refuses to fight for them. I will finally.
Just a quick follow-up, Mr.
True.
Mamdani. A lot of Hispanic that flee socialism and are a little bit scared to hear your policies. What would you tell them?
Well, I would first say that I wouldn't be here without.
Oh, wow. Oh, so we have to... It's fucking do for Cubans, like it's fucking Florida. Fuck you. Your granddad lost his slave plantation. Eat my cock.
The support of Latino New Yorkers, because it was the majority of their support that helped to make me the Democratic nominee. And what democratic socialism means is a belief in the dignity of each and every New Yorker and the responsibility city government has to deliver that dignity. That's why I'm speaking about childcare, because it's pricing out New Yorkers from the city. That's why I'm speaking about freezing the rent, because housing isn't a human right in the way that we practice our politics in the city. And that's why I'm talking about making buses fast and free, because 1 in 5 New Yorkers are being...
Did he really darken his skin and stuff? Fuck's sake. That's wild. Thank you for telling me that, NYC guy, and thank you for Biddy Bits. Much love. Yeah, I think Andrew Cuomo might be a racist. Don't know about you. I think he might be.
Priced out of public transit today.
Rosarina. So, Mr. Sliwa, I would like to talk to you because you were here with us 4 years ago in the same stage for the general election debate, and you lost it. Why do you believe New York is ready to elect a Republican this time around?
First off, did I not warn you 4 years ago that Eric Adams would be corrupt and we would have chaos? Did I not? Of course I did. And I get praised for that. Now I'm trying to get people to vote for me, not just on the Republican line, but also my wife, Nancy, who was the best thing that has ever happened to me, created the first ever independent Protect Animals line, which calls for no-kill shelters and putting animal abusers in jail. But the other thing that differentiates me from both of my adversaries is that I am opposed to the city of Yes, which will destroy the residential neighborhoods. Both of them are for the city of Yes. So when you vote for me, whether on the Republican line or the Protect Animals line, turn your ballot over and vote no on all those initiative and referendums. Imagine, they've said, how can you, Curtis, a Republican, work with a Democratic majority in the council? Adrian Adams is in agreement with me. The Democratic City Council people are in agreement with me. No to the city of Yes, which will take your home and provide you instead with lithium-ion battery warehouses next to your house, which are like miniature.
What the fuck is this creature? What is it? Will give you lithium-ion battery... What? He's a freak. He's a freak, honestly.
I'm the only candidate who is opposed to the city of Yes.
Thank you.
I have a quick follow to that, Mr. Sliwa. How do you bring down costs if you don't build more housing?
Oh, it's very simple to build housing. You just look in New York City. We have so many dense areas where you no longer can use the commercial space. There used to be office space, and you just convert it into residential housing. You don't need to go into the outer boroughs. You don't need to use wetlands and parklands, which they seek to do. If you build a new building, it takes 5 years. If you convert an existing building,
thank you. I want to change the pace
it
a
can be
little
done
bit.
in a year.
I want to change the pace and just get a sense of what you think about political leadership. We're curious about who you admire. Who's the best modern-day U.S. president? Mr. Cuomo?
Modern day? Well, I'm partial. I was Bill Clinton's Housing and Urban Development Secretary.
Wow, what a surprise. The fucking sex pest likes another sex pest. That is shocking to me. What time did this debate take place? I think it's past Sealwood's bedtime. I'm not sure what time it took place. Sometime in the early evening, I think.
We built affordable housing all across the United States. Empowerment zones. I would say Bill Clinton.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani?
I would say FDR.
Mr. Sliwa?
Is modern day?
Modern.
Well, I'd say FDR also, if that's modern day.
Mr. Sliwa?
A man that ended up...
What? Well, I mean, the parameters weren't exactly set, were they? When he says modern day, I mean, there's footage of him. Like, he's on film. That seems like kind of modern day, I guess. Yeah, like there are presidents of your country where you only have paintings of them. Do you know what I mean? Like, what exactly are the parameters for that?
Up being loved by Democrats and Republicans alike. The greatest governor we've ever had in my lifetime, George Pataki. 3 terms, no chaos, no corruption.
He wasn't president of the United States, you stupid cockhead. You were asked who the best president was. George Pataki never became president of the United States. I'm sorry to have to break that to you. You twat.
He actually beat
President.
the better
President. His governor and this
U.S. president. Who's the
who you thought the best
best president in our lifetime?
Or
I would say the best president in our lifetime that I've experienced. I would go back to Ronald Reagan.
Okay. How about
Because you're an idiot, yeah, I know.
the best New York City mayor, Mr. Sliwa? Best New York City mayor, Mr.
Rudy Giuliani, who endorsed me last week, and I'd have a little bit of Michael Bloomberg thrown in
Wow, another sex pest. Cool.
because he liked the responsibility.
I think the best New York City mayor of all time is Fiorello LaGuardia.
Mr. Cuomo.
It was Bill de Blasio last debate.
No, I've always said Fiorello is the best mayor of all time.
Who's yours, Mr. Cuomo?
Is it of all time or modern time?
Best New York City mayor in New York.
Of all time, it is Fiorello LaGuardia.
We agree.
Recently, I would say Mayor Dinkins and Mayor Bloomberg.
Okay. How about the political leader, dead or alive, you most admire? Mr. Mamdani?
I would say I admire Bernie Sanders.
Mr. Cuomo?
My father.
Mr. Sliwa?
I said it already, George Pataki, who was loved by Democrats and Republicans and the greatest mayor in our lifetime.
All right.
Greatest governor.
Okay. You know who my one is, chap? Michael Fabricant. A man who can step into the public realm with that on his head. That... I mean, he claims it's hair, it's obviously not. That is a man worthy of our respect, I feel. And he's mental as fuck as well, so there's that.
I just have one more before Sally starts asking about schools. A show of hands. Who supports Kathy Hochul for re-election?
The decision that should be made after this general election.
So no decision. Mr. Cuomo, you handpicked her as your lieutenant governor. No thought.
You have to know who's running.
Yeah. Okay, so.
And I would add that I do think that Kathy Hochul, our governor, has been doing a good job in not only
serving and
delivering, not only delivering for New Yorkers, but also standing up to Donald Trump.
Just what do you support for re-election?
Then endorse her.
I'm focusing on November.
Why don't you endorse
and I
her?
appreciate her support and I appreciate her work.
But you don't endorse her.
How about a shout out for Lisa Stefanik to pick out Kathy Hochul? So you have a Republican Mayor Curtis, a Republican Governor Stefanik, like Giuliani
want to talk about schools?
Save the city.
You want to talk about schools, Sally?
Okay, thank you, David. Let's turn to education. There are a number of issues facing public schools. One that's been controversial in the campaign is the Gifted and Talented program, which offers accelerated instruction to elementary school children. Mr. Mamdani, you have said that you want to phase out the Gifted and Talented program, while Mr. Cuomo and Mr. Sliwa want to expand it. Mr. Sliwa, we will start with you. What is your plan for the program? You have 1 minute.
Gifted and talented.
Yes, gifted and talented.
I have 2 younger sons with Melinda Katz, the Queen's DA. They both attempted to get into Gifted and Talented as 4-year-olds. They failed. It did not present a problem with their future education. We don't have enough slots. Right now, they're 1,900. We need to have at least 5,000 slots around the city. What they have not done at the Department of Education is make these tests available in Black and Hispanic communities. So, for instance, you have 77,000 children who are 4 years old. Only 10,000 have taken the test. Only 2,000 are accepted. Why not offer the test to all 77,000? And even if a gifted and talented class only has 3 or 4 in a minority school,
I love it.
give these children...
Look, it's so, I think, instructive of what New York is as a city, that even this fucking lunatic, who you know is a racist cunt, even he has to do the woke thing of, like, they're not giving enough places to Black and Hispanic communities. Like, the Republican has to do DEI. You have to be a gay Republican to run for mayor in New York. It's the only answer.
An opportunity to excel too. That would make it fair for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Cuomo, how does your plan differ from Mr. Sliwa's? You also have 1 minute.
First, I support mayoral control. I think it would be a terrible mistake to roll back mayoral control. That's probably been the most dramatic educational reform in 40 years. We go back to the old system that had local school boards, which were corrupt, patronage mills, etc. So who runs the system is number one. I would expand gifted and talented programs, accessibility. I'd offer preparatory courses to any student, parent that wanted to take them. I'd double the number of specialized high schools from 9 to 18, and I would keep the SAT as it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Mamdani.
Can I add one thing? There's been no discussion about vocational high schools,
Okay,
which save so many young men and women.
Sorry,
We need to expand vocational training for those
Okay,
who are not
we're going
going
to
to
keep
achieve
going here with Mr.
academic
Mamdani. Why should the gifted and talented program be phased out, in your opinion? You have a minute to answer.
So I want to be very clear. I have spoken solely of gifted and talented for kindergartners. I do not believe that kindergartners should be subject to a singular assessment. I have not spoken of any gifted and talented programs older than for kindergarten. I'm solely speaking about kindergarten. And I believe that we should be delivering the best education across the country here in the city. We will do that by following through on the proposals I put forward to hire 1,000 more teachers every single year through our community to classroom program. One that will ensure that we're providing each student, whether they be in high...
I'll be honest, I don't... It's not that I don't care about education, but I don't really know about the American education system. Oh, here we go. Sanctuary City. This should be spicy. Okay.
in the charter schools. We need to give choice because
to enter into the sanctuary city situation. And let's talk about also undocumented immigrants. 26 Federal Plaza has become a flagship in federal immigration crackdown. We reported that asylum seekers are showing up for like those routine appointments, not facing any criminal challenges, and they end up being deported. So by the show of hands, we would like to know if you believe that any of you could do something to stop this. Okay, so Mr. Cuomo, you have a minute to explain us. What would you do?
The law is the law, and I would have an attorney assigned to every person who is undergoing any review by the federal government or any legal proceeding, and put the full weight of the city government behind it, and make sure they are legally protected.
Mr. Slee, what was your plan?
look, going after the criminals, that's the job of Immigration and Naturalization Service, ICE. But when they have to perform under a quota, because I speak to many of the men and women who serve this country, it's putting too much pressure to go outside the courthouses, to go Home Depot.
Yeah, I covered the Hassan thing. Well, I covered the first third of this yesterday, so the Hassan bit's on yesterday's VOD.
Shape-ups, or the
It was very genuinely shocking and funny because I hadn't watched any of it. So when they brought up, will you condemn Hamas and Hassan Piker, I just nearly fucking died. I nearly laughed myself to death.
Hospitality businesses which have hired these migrants, and they are essential workers now. I can tell you, I have 3 sons. None of them are going to do that work. Some Americans will, but most won't. We need to protect the migrants who are workers, who are essential workers, and use ICE to go after the drug dealers, the gangbangers, the sexual...
See, you have to be a gay Republican. You have to be a gay Republican. You have to be like, we need to protect at least some of the migrants. Whereas like Trump, it gets to just be like, oh no, they're all animals, they're all scum. Kev, oh my god, Kev through Cuomo's propaganda machine. Jesus Christ. This is, I mean, it's problematic, is what it is. Do you want a race war? Because this is how you start a race war. Kev Khashoggi. Oh, please don't melt me, Saudi Arabia. I quite like not being chopped up. It has its advantages.
predators and those who are sex trafficking and involved in narco-terrorism.
Mr. Ramdani.
Now, I'd be proud to be the first immigrant mayor of the city in generations. And it's at 26 Federal Plaza that I've seen what used to be moments when New Yorkers would be getting their citizenship turn into moments of tragedy, where judges are asking New Yorkers who are there for routine immigration check-in whether they're prepared to leave in the very same clothes that they arrived to that courthouse. I agree that we need more legal representation. I also think we need to actually be able to stand up to Donald Trump, because I heard from Pastor in East Flatbush, Pastor Galbraith, who told me how he accompanied a member of his congregation to 26 Federal Plaza. He sat there as a judge was determining her fate. They managed to convince the judge to replace the deportation order with a TPS order, but they knew that ICE would not care about that change, and they had to sprint her out of the building, smuggling her into the elevator in order to get her back to Brooklyn.
Thank you.
ICE needs to be disbanded. I genuinely think that the next Democratic candidate needs to make that case. ICE needs to be destroyed.
Candidates, I want to talk about New York City's economy, change the pace a little bit. Everyone supports growing New York City's economy. The mayor is our chief salesman to the business world. So we want to mix it up, test your persuasive power. So we're calling it an elevator pitch. And we'll start with you, Mr. Mamdani. In this scenario, imagine you're talking to the CEO of a big tech company, deciding to move...
Wow, so they literally just had one little thing about immigration. Jesus Christ. How refreshing. They touched on it and then moved on. Economy, do I care? Mental health crisis, okay.
To a crisis that is very important to a lot of voters, and that is people struggling with mental health problems. Roughly 500 times a day, someone...
I want to thank whoever gifted me a sub. I don't know who did that, but yes. Yeah, indeed, thank you. Don't forget, everyone, you can also you can gift subs to anyone or memberships to anyone, and give me money in the form of bits and super chats and all that shite. They'll be read out in a voice as well. Yeah. I'm actually loving the frog stuff from Portland as well. Like, I don't often lib out chat, as you well know, but just occasionally I do enjoy people dressed as frogs standing down, you know, staring down fascioids. I think that's worthwhile. I think that's a useful thing to do. And fun. Because it's difficult to portray that as, like, domestic terrorism. I mean, they're going to try, obviously. It's Trump is going to try and say, like, oh, the inflatable frog people are terrorists. But it's an inflatable frog person, like... What's this? Oh, that's fucking dope. Fuck yes. See, again, I'm happy to lib out about that. That's cool. That's just a cool image. Ribbit, resist, repeat. No hope without hop. Fuck yes. Boom.
Epic dub.
One calls 911 about an emotionally disturbed person. And in a limited number of those cases, when the person is not believed to be violent, social workers are dispatched instead of police. Mr. Mamdani, you want to do that on a much larger scale. So we want to know, how will this work? When will you send police versus social workers? You have 1 minute.
You know, we have a program here in New York City called Be Heard that is attempting to do this kind of work. But we've had a mayor who has ensured that it's been unsuccessful, to the extent that even when there was an assessment of about 60% of calls that could have been addressed by Be Heard instead of the NYPD, Be Heard was not actually responsive to it. And that's because we haven't had the political will to deliver on what is a crisis that affects so many New Yorkers, which is the mental health crisis. What my plan will do, an innovative plan of the Department of Community Safety, will take what has worked elsewhere in the country, a program in Eugene, Oregon, where they took 24,000 911 mental health calls out of the police department. They were able to respond to all but 311 without police.
There was a thing in Dublin with half the people had inflated. Oh, send me a link to that, Vicky. Actually, no, I don't. Yeah, hang on, I can just fucking Google it. Dublin, no Kings protest. Oh fuck yes. Well done to the people of Dublin. God bless you. See, the Irish are just cool people, man. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Beautiful stuff. What's this? What do we got here? I don't think this is actual footage of Washington. Because for a start off, I didn't realise Washington had a beach. No one beyond redemption. I think this might be AI chat. What do you reckon? The fucking bear with an AK-47. Nice. Hear it out the beret. So, what? No one eats fur. Hug it out. Be friends. That's some gay shit.
Assistance. When there is a concern for safety or of violence, absolutely, you would have the police there. But what we are doing today is actually ensuring that every single call is going to the police and not allowing them to do the work that they signed up to do.
How will you determine whether there is a concern for safety or violence? What is the line between the calls in which police will be dispatched and the calls to which social workers will be dispatched?
The line is also going to be one focused on violence and the threat of violence. And I also trust the operators who will be receiving those calls to make that determination, as they do every day today for so many emergency services.
And just two really quick points, please. There has been a lot of discussion that you would send social workers to domestic violence calls, which police are concerned about. So you're saying no, okay. And then the other question is, how can you be sure that a situation that does not sound violent when someone calls 911 does not become violent in the moment? Would police be assigned as backup?
I think what you do is you actually follow the experts that have shown us this can work when you're willing to ensure that you're trusting the mental health experts who have been doing this work elsewhere in the country, where they call for the police when they need the police, but their initial impulse when there's no violence in that call is to actually address the mental health at the heart of it.
Okay, Mr. Sliwa, you have encountered plenty of these types of situations in your decades of work with the Guardian Angels. So do you see this approach working? You're not a police officer, but you've helped out in situations.
All right. Boy, another fantasy that's not reality. Eugene, Oregon. Have you ever been to Eugene? I've been to Eugene. Come on, this is New York City. We have so many emotionally disturbed persons that are in need of help. I will tell you this.
Yeah, I know. We're looking at one, mate. Yeah.
Andrew, you closed the mental health beds that were taking care of them. 40,000 when you came into office, down to 4,000 because of your cuts, which forced these people to live in the streets, in the parks, and the subways. These people need to be removed. They need mental health care. We need to make our shelters safe. I've been in 1/3 of the 300 shelters run by the Department of Homeless Services. It's Darwinian there, survival of the fittest. If we can make our shelter system safe, we can get men and women who are homeless in there, especially veterans who we're not giving any attention to, who we put out at Ward's Island at 10 o'clock at night, release during the day, don't give any training, have them roam about, and obviously, when you have nothing to do, you end up getting into trouble. This is a disastrous, homeless, and emotionally disturbed plan that we have in New York City, and I'm the mayor that can change it because I deal with them every day in the streets, in the parks, and the subways.
Okay, Mr. Cuomo, do you think that the NYPD handles these calls for emotionally disturbed people in distress well? Is there room for something in the middle?
Yeah, I think the Assemblyman deals in theory. There's an advantage when you actually have experience. I've run homeless programs. I ran the homeless programs for the federal government. I worked with cities all across the nation. When you get a call on a telephone about a mentally ill person who may be violent, it is a very dangerous situation. And I think you should have a mental health worker accompanied with a police officer, because these can be explosive situations. I have been in situations that seemed apparently calm and fine, and then erupted into violence very quickly, and it got very dangerous very quickly. So I would have a social worker with a police officer and get the people off the streets. That's the humane thing, and get them the care they need. Not institutionalize 40,000 people again. We have supportive housing now, which is what we use, and forensic beds for people who need them.
Now, let me get this straight. A police officer is there first. He has to wait for the arrival of a mental health
I would send them as a team.
As a team, but that's not realistic. You're dealing with fantasy also.
All right.
The police officers are going to be the first one on the scene,
Okay.
and they're always going to have to deal with it first and foremost.
He has experience running homeless programs. What he has experience doing is cutting funding for the very programs that prevented homelessness here in New York City. As the governor, he cut funding for the Advantage program, which was putting New Yorkers who had otherwise been in shelters, otherwise been homeless, into apartments. I met one of those New Yorkers. She told me how that pushed her out.
Brief response.
He's talking about a program 14 years ago that was a pilot program that had a work
Jumping
requirement.
so
$65 million. It was 13 years ago, 65 million. I added billions.
See, I don't need to comment anymore. I've automated it. It's efficient, chat. I don't need to say anything now. Everything. It's there.
To the homeless budget. Funded the homeless budget larger than any governor in history.
Okay.
He cut that program. He cut that program. Homelessness skyrocketed after.
It did not. It was 14 years ago.
All right.
It was during the Bloomberg administration. And yes, okay.
Okay. I want to ask you about climate change. As New York City confronts the impact of climate change, one issue already on the desk of the next mayor is Local Law 97. It's passed in 2019. The law requires large buildings to gradually reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. That may require very expensive upgrades to buildings, which some landlords and co-op owners say they just simply can't afford. We're wondering how each of you would enforce the law. You have 30 seconds. Mr. Cuomo.
Local Law 97, I support. Implementing the law is going to be the key, because it has to be done in a way that isn't so disruptive to businesses and residences that they just give up and pay the fine and don't even try to comply, which is what is going to happen now. It will be cheaper for them to pay the fine than comply. And that obviously will accomplish nothing. So, yes, I support the law. Yes, we have to implement.
Okay, put them in jail then. Because if it's a fine, it just means it's legal for rich people to do it. You'll soon see them fucking change their tune if a few of them start going to jail.
But we have to implement it in a way that is feasible.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Sliwa.
Local 97 will destroy those people who have invested in co-ops and condos. There's 100,000. It's forcing them to electrify. Now, you, Andrew Cuomo, took Indian Point offline, 25% of our electrical capacity with no replacement, which has caused skyrocketing electricity bills. And now we're going to force condo and co-op owners to electrify. Maintenance fees will go up 30%. These people will be leaving their condos and co-ops. They need relief. When I'm mayor, I slow that process down. We need our co-op owners and condo owners to stay here in New York City and not leave.
Indian Point? Yeah.
So, I mean, fuck it. New York's a coastal city, right? If sea levels rise, I think that might be quite disruptive to condo owners as well. When New York is like... Let's say, if you have to apply a scuba gear to the face of the Statue of Liberty, that could be quite economically kind of damaging for the city, I think.
Indian Point was started before me. It was a very dangerous situation. We have nuclear facilities upstate, and my proposal on what I did is run cables from the nuclear...
I'm very well, thank you, Fogel. Indeed. Just sell your house to fucking Aquaman, yeah.
facilities upstate to bring the power to downstate. Indian
Fucking
Point has 12
Aquaman!
million people in the kill zone.
Thank you, Mr. Cuomo. Mr. Mamdani, local law 97, how would you enforce the law as mayor?
I support the law, and I would also make it easier for condo and co-op owners to comply with the law, because what I've heard from so many is that it's cheaper to pay the fine than to actually get into compliance. And I think the city has a role here in procurement at a large scale of so much of what is necessary in these infrastructure investments. We've seen it be done in the Clean Energy Challenge within NYCHA. It's time to do it right here in New York City to assist those condo and co-op owners in meeting the standards we desperately need to hit.
Okay, gentlemen, New York City loves its parades, and the mayor is often front and center. You have all said that you want to be mayor for all New Yorkers. So will you march in all the parades that mayors have traditionally marched in, or are there any that you would boycott? Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, okay, now it makes sense. There was a thing yesterday when someone said, are all parades equal? And we were like, what are you talking about? And they said, oh, it's to do with this debate. And we got to it, okay.
I think a mayor has a responsibility, whenever possible, to march in parades, to celebrate whatever that parade is performing as. I've been a Grand Marshal of the Pulaski Day Parade. I was proud to celebrate
Are there
my
any that you would
heritage.
boycott, though? I just need to move this along.
Excuse me?
Would you boycott any of the city's parades?
No, I would not boycott any parades.
Mr.
It's a mayor's
Cuomo, would you
responsibility
boycott?
to be available to all racial, ethnic, and religious groups.
No, I wouldn't unless they discriminated.
Okay. Mr. Mamdani?
There are many parades that I would not be attending because I'd be focusing on the work of leading the city.
Which parades?
A number of them. I've already missed a number of those parades because I've been
Well,
trying
could you tell
to
us?
speak
You
to as
have
many
an
New Yorkers as
audience
possible.
Okay.
I don't have the list of all the parades I've missed.
Wow, that's a
All right,
lot.
are there-
A mayor
let me
should
ask
be
you
going to
this.
all parades.
Let me ask you this. Are there any parades that don't exist that you think should? Mr. Mamdani?
I haven't.
What the fuck? Yeah, there should be a parade for the totally existing Jewish Aston Villa supporters club. They should have a parade, and it's just that one guy who isn't Jewish and made the club up in his fucking head. It's just him walking through New York City with a placard. I think that should happen. It was Rachel Atwood. Very good, very well remembered. Yes. I don't think they've been in tonight, but yeah.
Thought much about parades, to be honest with you.
Mr. Cuomo?
I have not thought. I don't even know what parade doesn't exist, frankly.
Could be for anything. Mr. Sliwa?
Every parade has the right to exist in New York City. I would ask
David,
you,
thank you.
Mr.
Okay.
Mondani,
Okay,
would you protect the Christopher Columbus statues that exist here in the city?
I'm telling you, my focus
Nope.
is on affordability. I'm not thinking
Well,
about
you're not
statues.
answering the question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
He
You're not answering the question.
gave the finger to the Columbus Day statue.
Issues come up.
Yeah, good. Good. Look, I know you're in favour of rapists, obviously, because you are one, but most people aren't.
That's what we call a
All right,
disgraziato.
listen, we're in the last couple of minutes. We
You know
thought
what
we'd
that
have
means?
some questions. We thought we'd have some questions that maybe give a glimpse into your life, your personality away from the political podium. What's your go-to breakfast order at the bodega? Mr. Sliwa?
Oh, eggs and cheese on a roll. No salt, please.
Mr. Cuomo?
Same thing. No salt also.
Mr. Mamdani?
Egg and cheese on a roll with jalapenos.
No.
Have you ever purchased anything in a cannabis shop? And if so, what did you buy? Mr. Mamdani?
I have. I have purchased marijuana at a legal cannabis shop.
Okay. Mr. Cuomo?
No.
Mr. Sliwa?
When I was shot 5 times and I've had Crohn's disease, I did use medical marijuana. Yes.
Okay.
Fair dues. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Medical marijuana. Cool. I'm not even sure if this is AI. Is it? Is this real? Is that a real thing? Is there a titty doll parade? Or is that fake? Oh, they're attached to the floor. Yeah, I think it's fake. Yeah. Okay. No, the lines are attached to the floor. Okay. I was like, is that real? Is that like fucking... I was like, is that a fucking weird Macy's thing or some shit? Like, what the fuck? But no, that's fake. Yeah, okay. Look, Victoria's Secret have taken it to the next level. 80-foot high Victoria's Secret models.
In a dream scenario, we know it's not possible, but the Mets are playing Game 7 of the World Series on the same night as the Knicks are playing Game 7 of the NBA Championship, and you can only go to one. Which one will it be, Mr. Sliwa?
Again, which baseball team?
This is the Mets, Game 7, Knicks, Game 7.
I'm not going to the Mets game. I'm a Yankee fan. True baseball fans either like
You're scum, yes.
one or the other. I'm going to the Knicks game. That's my team, the Knicks.
Also, the fucking World Series and the NBA Finals are not on the same time scale. That's not possible. This clash that you have dreamt up is not possible given the way the seasons operate.
Mr. Cuomo?
I'm going to go half and half. I can make it back and forth.
All right. Mr. Mamdani?
This is what New Yorkers are sick of. Just pick a team.
What's
Come
your
on.
answer?
I'd be there for the Knicks.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of ground covered. We'll leave it on that light note. Thank you, candidates, for a spirited debate. We thank you as well. We hope you got a lot out of it.
I got nothing out of that. That was fucking embarrassing. The funniest bit was the Hassan Piker bit. Honestly. Yeah. 83 quid. Who the fuck spends that on a football match? Honestly, that's actually not that expensive compared to some. In the Premier League, you can be paying 200 quid a pop. The moderator said, even though it's impossible. Well, of course it's impossible, yeah. Yeah, that was pointless. Yeah, it would be hockey and baseball. Yeah, it'd be like the Rangers, New York Rangers, not the football team. Rangers, or I suppose you could have Islanders, but no. Or the Knicks. Or I suppose it could be the Brooklyn Nets, which is a thing now. I heard the Villa game will have some cheap seats. Free seats, when you think about it. Although apparently there are some people who want to go and occupy those seats. They were promised them in a magical book a long time ago. And we should take that very seriously in the 21st century. Anyway. Yes. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Much love. I will send you over there. Another debate where it's 50% about Israel. Quite a bit of it was about Israel, to be fair, yeah. What is this nonsense? The Onion investigates... Oh, Jesus Christ, okay. I'll watch that later, thank you. I don't give a duck. No, I can't give a duck. Not that I don't. I'm putting the onus on you there. And that is unfair of me. I shouldn't have done that. I apologise for nothing. Dee-dee. Who's going on Twitch? No, on YouTube. Oh, Mad Cat's going. Okay, there you go. Go and say hello. And so that sorts that out then, I guess. What's this? Stop using AI, fucking thinking Sabercat. Stop it. AI. You can't spell gay without AI. Yeah, I said it. And I won't be taking it back. I'll be leaving it out there for the world to fucking see. Go and say hello to Mad Cat Scotty Eye. And I'll be back tomorrow. Probably, I think, to do an early stream. Football. And then I'll be on later on with No Justice, hopefully, for some award-winning journalism. And I think they're interviewing Zach Palanska, which should be fun. Finally. Only several fucking weeks after it would have been relevant. But there you go. Thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you everyone for your support. Much love. Free Palestine. No pass around.